The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, sir. Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. Boom! It is Coach Us Up Chuck Thursday, January 13th, 2022. We can't thank you enough for joining us. This show begins après that beat drop right there. We can't thank you enough wherever the hell you may be. The fact that you allow us to be a part of your day-to-day, we are eternally grateful for. All the boys are here. The Toxic Table, at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor, rounding out the Bugle Boys, one half of the Hammer, Dahn Cowboys, at Tone Diggs is here. How you doing, Tone?
Good, how you doing?
Good. How's Hammer Dahn doing?
Good.
Oh, no.
Foxy's hot.
Hey, Foxy, we just started making that graphic for them yesterday, right?
Yeah,
like, hey, win.
You're not going to see it today.
Oh, no.
As we predicted, that would be the death sentence.
Gambling gods.
Oh, so that is why you guys have pushed that off for so long. Because I've asked a couple times over the run here of the heater that the Hammer Down boys have been on. Like, hey, can you guys just make some videos so we can just show them during the show? Like, hey, a commercial. You know, we got commercials we got to fill time with. Why don't we just have, like, you guys hitting every night, which is what you've been doing there. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So then, you know, like 2 months later, I'll be like, fuck, weren't we supposed to have, are you guys still on a heater? Yeah. Can we get some videos?
Please.
Like as a commercial, please. We need them running the same.
Yes.
And then I think it'd be good for the show. Yeah. We'll get on that now, actually. Okay. And then they know that I'll get into some other thought, some other conversation. Life will go on. I'm just expecting it to be done. And then we go 3 months later and it's like, okay, I would like some fucking winners in the videos here to help push this thing. Now. And Foxy, actually, he's been cutting cameras for this show for like a week now.
Yeah.
Foxy was like, yeah, let's get this done. Actually, I'm like, hey, thank you, Foxy, by the way. Yep. Foxy goes in there, gets it done. Now they're cold.
Oh, boy.
So Foxy's arrival into Hammer Down and then me continuing to ask them to, you know, kind of tempt fate with the gambling gods. Mm-hmm. I would like to say, we are sorry if you guys turn into the coldest cold streak of all time.
Well, and also,
it is me and Foxy's fault.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm actually hot right now, so I want these videos to go out so people see, like, I'm winning bets.
Yeah, you're in there every single day.
First time ever.
Hey, you're in the Thunderdome.
It held back.
You're in the Hammer Down Thunderdome, and you're giving out picks every single night, and you're on a heater that nobody's ever seen before, and that's why I'm happy you're on my team for the same Game Parlay Holiday. I'm pumped you're on my team, Foxy.
Let's go.
Well, football is a different sport than basketball, Pat. Let's remember, who Foxy has been in the past.
For those that haven't watched Hammer Down over the last few days, Foxy makes bets every single day with the Hammer Down boys. So they have to pick college basketball, which is on every night, NBA basketball that is on every night. So football is just during the weekends, especially for the same Game Parlay Holiday. Cute little jingle. It was stuck in my head all day yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
The weird thing was we did it in the first hour, did it in the second hour, third hour, I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Got out of the show, though, was sitting, maybe taking a grumpy, maybe not, doing the whatever you got to do. And in my head, am I fucking Jimmy Iovine, dude? I don't know.
Might be.
You tell me. I'm not 100% sure, but I am super excited for this weekend because Super Wildcard Weekend has gotten even better. If you're in a state in which FanDuel is available, come on in. The water is fine. If not, just watching along, you're going to be able to see the best of the best in the NFL compete. I mean, there's different ways to look at it this weekend as a fan, as somebody that's in the game. I've gotten a chance to play in the Super Wildcard Weekend, knowing that you either win or you go fish.
Oh. Don't want to be doing that.
And I'm not talking a card game. I'm talking about actually heading to the lake, for the next couple months all by yourself, loser, watching everybody else. And you get no more paychecks, no more playoff bonuses, no more success, no more legacy, no more, hey, in 10 years we'll come back and have a reunion. That is what happens when you lose in the playoffs. It is a nightmare. Losing in the playoffs stinks. I mean, granted, last night on Hard Knocks, I only got to see the final 10 minutes of the show because my wife and I went to an RV expo.
Whoa, how'd it go?
Did you get anything?
What was it? I assume EXPO stands for something.
Yeah.
Right?
Exponential sometimes.
Not in this
I
case.
don't.
I don't think so. Like they're whatever. Grand is what you think, right?
Oh, yeah, a lot of RVs. Not so much.
A lot of RV pamphlets.
I don't know. It just wasn't as. We're gonna get in. I think I'm gonna get into the bus RV game. I think I'm gonna get in there somehow. I enjoy like being away from everything, but also need Wi-Fi and water.
Of course.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Bed.
I think I would enjoy camping, but also need walls.
Need essentials.
Need air conditioning. I run hot. Need this entire thing. So my wife and I are like, let's go to RV Expo, maybe pick up a bus or something. Turn it into a studio ability thing. So like if we ever have to be on the road for anything, let's go do it. I feel like I've driven past parking lots with more RVs in it.
Really?
Wait.
Yeah, it was no. I mean, the people that were there were incredibly nice. Okay, obviously, a lot of people in the. We shout out to all the incredible vendors that were there last night that did take the show on the road to the expo. But it seems like a lot of people decided not to come to the RV Expo.
You're telling me the RV Expo at the Indiana State Fairgrounds didn't have a Rockstar tour bus equipped and ready to go?
Well, what's this guy's deal?
I
thought that's what was
honestly
going on.
thought there would be one there.
I thought so. I thought Expo. I was fully ready and prepared to walk into that Indiana State Fairground, find a bus and say, I'm driving this one home. Give it to me right now. I mean, there was a couple nice ones, a couple really good people. I expected, I think, something to be grander. I was told, wait till February. February, we got the RV and boat show. That brings in a little bit more because the boat community and the RV community sometimes,
Hand in hand.
some people are coming in more. You need to come to the RV and boat show. Whatever the case, it was a nice little date night for my wife and I to go walk around, meander amongst a lot of great people. Not a lot of RVs, but a lot of great people there. Got to chat, see the world. Had a corn dog.
Oh, really?
State Fair corn dog.
Delicious. Can't beat it.
You could, because actually the State Fair, I think when the State Fair is happening, different corn dogs than during the expo.
Winter
there
corn
you have
dogs.
it.
People selling the corn dogs still awesome. And you got to remember, State Fair, Carnies, people along this, awesome to talk to.
You bet.
They made some decisions in their life that landed them in this spot as opposed to being like the number one agent or salesman or saleswoman of anything. They can talk. So people saw us corn dog, great people.
Sure.
Said corn dog, though, half-ass corn dog in comparison to State Fair corn dog, one of which you go to the State Fair to actually get. Big son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, foot long.
Well, it's not corn season.
It's a hot dog on a stick dipped in batter.
Yeah.
Line them all up, put it on a platter.
Delicious.
Give me 5 to 6, your boy's getting fatter because it's a hot dog on a stick dipped in bladder. I love corn dogs. Last night they mailed it in. But people were great. People were fantastic. Nice date night with the wife. Get home, have a good time. All of a sudden I look at my phone. Holy shit, it's 10:33. Okay? Hard Knocks, Keith Cosro's program started on HBO at 10 o'clock. We turned the thing on. This was like one I wanted to see. I wanted to see how the team was going to respond to being knocked out of the playoffs in Clowntown, Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, man.
So I turned it on at the exact time where Darius Leonard was crouched down on the field during probably a 2-minute warning or a timeout or something, just saying, man, we fucked this one up, basically. Like the acknowledgement of everybody that they stunk and that they blew an opportunity that is not always going to be there. And Frank gave a lot of speeches about how, hey, this is going to carry into next year. There's going to be 30 new guys on that team next year. That team is going to look similar with the big names, I guess, probably similar with the big names. Who knows the quarterback position? I mean, Chris Ballard's speaking right now. He scheduled his presser at the same time as our show. Okay.
Chris.
So he could 1 hour earlier. Maybe
What
we'd
the
be able
hell?
to talk about it, get a little bit more answers. But Frank was talking about the future of the team, and some stars will be back. But in the NFL, the teams change drastically. Free agency happens. Guys get paid. The bottom half of the roster, who might have been some glue guys who were able to perform well in role positions, absolutely said they're going to probably be gone. There's going to be a new batch that's younger, cheaper, and they're going to be moved. That group is never going to be the same again. And I think that is the thing that is most difficult to take whenever a season ends. And it kind of slaps you right in the face, too. It comes out of nowhere. Just like we are just realizing that it's Sang Game Parlay Holiday. Weekend, Super Wildcard Weekend already. This kind of came up on us quick. In the game, especially for a team like the Colts who are on a run, they were expecting on going for a while. Keith Cosgrove of Hard Knocks was expecting to go for a while. Yeah. Then it shows up out of nowhere. Boom! Your schedule just opened up, dude. You got fucking nothing. You're not going to probably see a lot of these dudes ever again. You're probably never going to talk to these guys face-to-face ever again unless you happen to be in the same city at the same event at the same time. And I think that is the finality of it all is what is so beautiful about this weekend because you don't really realize it until like the night before the game. You have a team meeting. And you're like, oh, shit, hey, this could be our last team meeting. And then when you go get a snack and you're hanging out, it's like, hey, this literally might be the last time you and me ever fucking, eat something together ever again. Hey, this might be the last time you and me get to just ask this dude who's an incredibly nice guy named E, who's the head of the FCA, just a bunch of hilarious questions that he never, this could be the last time, and then boom, you get bonus football. Then you get it another time, and you kind of start grasping on to how much, you appreciate the practice and the walkthrough, not only because it's bonus money, which is great. More checks. Always good in the football world when you're utilizing your body for your business and you don't know how long your body is going to continue to maintain. So picking up bonus checks for your body, always good. But also, you just, the finality of it all kind of starts creeping in, and I'm so excited that we're here. Last night, though, the Colts, that was interesting watching. And Frank gave a great speech, I thought. In the whole thing, the team meeting, it was a great delivered speech. I don't think he bobbled one word. I was like, holy shit, this is a very good speaker. This is a very good orator. And I did know that he went to boot camp to be a priest.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Preacher.
seminary,
Yeah. Is that a priest or a preacher?
Priest.
But he's married with kids, so he wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, so probably,
Probably back that.
I don't know. I mean, is he Catholic? I don't know what.
I don't know.
Depends on the denomination, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's like Mennonites, Amish. There's like a bunch of levels to this shit.
He might be like a deacon or something like that.
Whatever the case, I knew he wanted to get into the Lord's word.
Sure.
But him delivering that speech, which is a tough speech to give, I thought was delivered well. The messaging, though, I didn't, because he and we all know that team is not going to be anywhere near the same next year.
No.
You just got to hope. You just got to hope that your studs come back. You got to hope that the people that you bring in for the fill-in spots, they're able to buy in as much as you need them to buy in to hopefully take the next step. Last year, losing the playoffs. This year, not make the playoffs because you lose to Jacksonville Jaguars. I just think getting an inside peek at all that was pretty cool. And I had to, relive the loss to Clowntown yet again last night.
Well, and that's why it is, because it's hard to, you look at that and it kind of just fills you with that disappointment again with like how well they were playing, like, and part of that too, to your point about Frank and like the messaging, like I'm sure a lot of those guys are just sick to their stomach because 4 weeks ago they were thinking like, hey, if we get into the playoffs, like we're going to be an actual threat, like we could be one of those teams that goes on a run to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl, and then like you said, it's just super disappointing that the season ended the way it did.
Yeah, I get it.
Sad.
Very
really.
sad.
Okay.
Bummed.
All right. Okay. Hope you guys all do well in the playoffs. Okay, hope you all do well. Hope you do better than what Ben's expecting, and we'll get to that in a minute. But my wife watching, she grew up in Indiana here. She's a Colts fan. On the way out of the building, they showed like Carson smiling or whatever, and Sam's like, he shouldn't be fucking smiling. I'm like, Sam, like,
He's gotta live his life.
Like, what if he was just with somebody in that building for, 6 months every single day, and they're about to not see each other for about a month or two? What if they were like, hey, fuck off or whatever, don't die on the Bobcat? What if that moment is what happened? They can't have any inside jokes or any moments of like nostalgia about the year as the season's ending. And in Sam's eyes, it was like, no, and I can understand why. They put him in slow motion, like smiling on the way out as if it was a happy ending. It was like, I don't know if that's how Carson exactly felt about the team, which is what the show is kind of depicting, or he maybe felt that about somebody who just said something or something that's going on there. But whatever the case, it is miserable.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot about who's, like who do you want to continue to go with in those moments where loss happens? Because it's like I've been on a plane where we have lost bad. And not a single person said a single fucking word on the trip home. Maybe there was like a stand-up walk. How you doing? All right, yeah, well, that can't happen anymore. Just go back and sit down. Everybody miserable. And I've been on a plane where we have got our asses handed to us, and somebody was coming on with one phone on their ear, one phone on their hand, and a shout out across the plane to somebody that owes them money from a dice game, and then sitting down and other people laughing alongside and just being like, oh, okay, so we fucking stink.
Yeah.
This team stinks. Like, does he even realize that we just got murdered and we should not be getting murdered, and you only have so many opportunities to do this? But then you got to realize also that not everybody is 100% playing in the NFL just strictly because they love the team, they love the game. They're there because it is a business. They're there to make money, which makes you even more realize, like, hey, if we lose, we don't make as much fucking money either. So no matter what your reasoning is to play, and I think people should not be as hard on folks who don't necessarily love the game as much as everybody else. You know, there's some people that get motivated in different fashions. There's a lot of people, believe it or not, who come from absolutely nothing, who have the mindset that, hey, I'm going to do this because I'm going to make money. This has been my plan, and I don't give a fuck. Like, hey, it is my job to make money for my family, my community, and they might come off as a little bit more selfish than everybody else. And if you're a coach or a teammate, it's like, cool, that's what motivates this dude. Let's just get him to do that and be better for all of us. And whenever you lose, and money stops coming, the wins stop coming, the legacy stop coming, and that's why playoff football is the fucking best, baby.
Yeah, nothing better. Only 13 games left, but
Oh,
sorry, hey, you got to put a number on it so you can enjoy every single one of them.
No, so you put a number on, like conditioning. Hey, you got 20 sprints, okay, because you want to get through it.
Yeah, sure.
You don't put a number on good things.
I needed a number on it, okay? Because last week, out of nowhere, halfway through our Sunday in this office watching games, I said, oh shit, there's only like 4 or 5 games left in the whole entire regular season. Then what? What do we got next weekend? We only got 3 games on Sunday. Yeah, sorry about it, guys. I need to know because I want to savor every single one of them, all right? That's on you guys.
Listen,
You can't handle
going into
13.
Sunday, I think I seen Diggs with a tweet. I sent a tweet. Numerous other people. Hey, this is a full NFL Sunday slate. Let's enjoy this. This is our last one.
Exactly. Where were you?
Yeah, but we don't need to spin it with a countdown.
Yeah, well, it's a countdown to the biggest game on earth of the season.
Hey, you only got 13 meals left in your life.
Exactly. So you'd probably chew a lot more if you knew you only had 13.
Yeah, but what if one of these games is just dog shit? What do I mean?
I expect one of those, and unfortunately, I expect it to be possibly the Patriots-Bills game to be a little bit of a...
Speaking of that game, Jordan Poyer will join us in hour 2. He's safety for the Buffalo Bills. Did not make the Pro Bowl because their defense, although number 1 overall scoring defense and number 1 overall defense, scoring means the amount of points they give up. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills are the first team since the 2012 Steelers to lead the NFL in total defense and scoring defense without a player selected to the Pro Bowl.
How does that work?
Well, they fucking stink. I'm going to tell them that, too. I'm going to say, hey, you and Hyde stink, dude.
I'll let them know.
If you were good, you would have made a Pro Bowl. So
That's true.
You guys might give up the least amount of points all year, average, least amount of yards as an entire defense as a whole throughout the entire season, but none of you are named in the Pro Bowl. So fucking maybe call back next week, dude, if you make it.
Who cares?
Think about just as we talked about to him last time, he's a chip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then he has tweeted a couple of times like, oh, just adding gas to the fire and all that whole thing. I'm excited to hear his take on the entire thing because that might be something that McDermott's using. Like, hey, none of you all stink. None of you made the Pro Bowl, but who cares, right? We're trying to get to the big bowl.
Yeah,
Big Bowl.
The Super Bowl. What's the rules on that? Are we not allowed to? You're not allowed to promote the Super Bowl if you're not the NFL. Is that why?
I think it depends on how you say it. Like, if you're saying it like Connor says, how many games are left in the season, you can't say
It's bullshit.
Super Bowl. But if you say it in a happy way, you could say Super Bowl.
Oh, so it's on the narrative.
Yeah.
That's like people that rip our show and then put it up on their own pages or whatever. And we don't want to send cease and desist to anybody because people do that to us with our own content whenever they re-air our shit on their shit. And we understand it's a business. But if you're trying to make us look like a bunch of assholes, like we have to. Like,
Gotta do it.
We can't just be using
Can't
our
have
stuff
that.
and making us look like assholes. If you want to use our stuff, stop, judge us, call us assholes. Cool.
Different
Fair
story.
game.
But you cannot make our entire show look like assholes. I mean, a little respect out there.
Yeah, you know. I mean, I thought there was honor in this game.
Is there not honor and assholery, dude?
You know,
I
apparently
thought that's
not.
what we're doing. Joining us now is a man who is nowhere near an asshole.
No.
Such a good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
He's Emmy nominated. What? He's an insider to the insiders.
Whoa.
Guy who absolutely crushes it every single morning on NFL Network with Good Morning Football alongside an incredible cast and crew. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, Peter Schrager. What's going on, Dad?
I'm doing great. I love you guys. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you for joining us. We love you as well. What's the hat there? We going down to the harbor?
This is Sag Harbor. This is out in Long Island. This is where all the fishermen live. This is where Billy Joel sings about Sag Harbor. We're showing some love to a little small town in Long Island.
Well, Billy,
let's go.
Hey, Sag Harbor. All right,
Hey,
good.
thank you, Sag.
I thought it was like a bunch of actors hanging around water there. I thought that's what that was on your hat. I was excited to hear.
Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No, not quite.
I thought this was like an Illuminati thing you were hanging out at. I was like, hey, okay, Shregs, maybe you'll win that Emmy next time. You jump into those harbors. Let's do that. All right, let's get to the inside information that only Shregs knows and the conversation that you can hopefully enlighten us on a little bit. Was Joe Judge going to be fired before Aaron Rodgers said everything he said on this show, or should we feel a little bit of guilt about the future of Joe Judge and him having that house party with 700 bears, vodka, pizza, boys, let's burn this shit down? Is that Aaron Rodgers' fault on this show, or how do you think they got to that point, and what's next for them?
I think Joe Judge is a great dude, and I feel like the shame of it all is that the New York market never really got to experience what kind of person he was, because I've gotten to know him, and I think he's a good guy. He's a good father. He's got kids, and they're in high school and they're in middle school, and at the end of the day, if he got fired or not, it was going to happen. But what was a shame was sort of the way it all went down, that on Monday, he shows up to work thinking, I might have a job tomorrow, I might not. He meets with the team. He leaves Monday night as the head coach of the Giants. And Dave Gettleman, the general manager, had this, fantastic victory lap around the stadium on Sunday, gets to shake hands, and he gets to retire from his job. Judge on Monday goes in, thinks he's got a job, maybe, who knows, but then the story starts coming out that they're going to be doing GMs, and the GMs are then going to decide Joe's fate, and then one thing leads to another, and I think when the Giants ownership started reaching out to some of these GM candidates, they're like, if we're going to be the GM of the Giants, we'd like to have some say in the coach, and if not, tell us whether the coach is going to be there or not so that we can work with him. We've seen that work before where a head coach is already there and then a GM comes and joins them. And I don't think a lot of those GM candidates loved how murky things were looking as far as, so you're going to hire me, but then my first week I've got to decide whether I'm firing this guy or not, and I don't know him. Like, it was a shotgun marriage, if you will. And I think the Mara family at the end of the day was like, all right, it's easier just to rip the Band-Aid off and let's get out of here. But if you want to make the case for Joe Judge, and I don't think the 3rd and 9 play that Aaron so publicly joked about on your show did him any favors. If you want to make the case for him, he inherited a roster. He had Saquon Barkley for like 5 games when he was healthy. They had a terrible offensive line. They had the worst salary cap in football. And it was almost like you were digging out of a hole. And 2 years in a pandemic, it's a shame that Joe Judge never really was able to succeed in New York. And it's kind of like the end of an era, and it never really began.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I assume you have a pretty good relationship with Joe Judge, as you explained there early. So I like you going to bat for your friend as well, because none of us would look into that. We would just look from the outside and say, oh, this team fucking stinks. And you can't stink and be a head coach for long, especially when there's moments happening where you're doing a 3,000-word diatribe about yourself and the team and the organization and the culture. And then there's push-ups happening in full pads, and then there's calling out of other organizations that then beat the hell out of you on the last week. It just, from a national side, not following it day to day, it just looked like an
the
epic
local side.
failure.
They blew him out here. Like, the media was, look, you guys nationally are one thing. You have no idea what it's like on the local radio in New York.
They kill him, huh? They kill him?
Yeah, but
so that's why, hold on, Shrakes. So they kill him. So that's why he comes in and says, okay, here is boom, to basically tell everybody to go fuck themselves. I actually respect that more and more, because from a national side, the 3,000-word thing looked like, oh, this guy's trying to explain why he doesn't stink when he clearly stinks. But you think it's potentially pent-up frustration from him telling everybody to go fuck themselves in a manner in which he can explain it. Maybe? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I think that he legitimately thought that there was going to be another year next year, and gosh, like let's take a deep breath here and let's see how this season ends, and then look towards next year where maybe we could do a reset. And I think he came into that Monday afternoon meeting hoping he still had a job with the Giants. Went to bed that night telling his family probably, I think I'm good. And then Tuesday, middle of the afternoon, it's like, all right, you're gone. And I don't know. Gettleman was a GM there for many, many years, retires at the age of 70. He's been much respected in the league. But their roster and that team never really had a shot with all the injuries they had and where it was going. So I'm not going to cry any tears for Joe Judge as far as being able to be an NFL head coach. It's one of the coolest honors in the world, and he would be very disappointed if he saw someone out there being like, Joe deserves better, because he's got too much pride for that. But I also don't think he had the best situation, and the deck wasn't exactly full when he showed up.
Okay, and by the way, I appreciate you saying that, and I will view Joe Judge's existence as a head coach in a different manner as opposed to all the other New England coaches that come out there. And also, he's a special teams guy, and he threw a banger immediately.
Yeah.
So I think hey, Joe Judge's level of respect is much higher, but from a national standpoint, what are they going to do? Are they going to be able to turn that around? Are they going to hire an agency to hire somebody? How's Mara and the Mara family going to fix this thing, you think, when they've proven it's not easy to make these decisions in the NFL, especially for the New York Giants?
All right, so the Giants have a long history of hiring from within when it comes to the general manager position. George Young was there, Hall of Fame GM for 20 years. They went outside the building with Ernie Accorsi, but who had done it for years. And then it was Jerry Reese, and then after Jerry Reese, it was Gettleman. All these guys had Giants roots aside from Accorsi. This is the first time ever the Giants are doing like a wide net, huge interview process for the general manager position. I'm talking Adrian Wilson, safety for the Cardinals for years, who's been in the Cardinals front office. He had an interview yesterday. Today, Ryan Poles, who is a 36-year-old in Kansas City, he's interviewing for the GM position right now. Joe Shane up in Buffalo. Like, they are looking at all the top organizations, and they're picking and plucking and bringing them in to meet with them to have a GM. Then the GM will then start lining up the coaches. So even to have a coaching conversation now is premature. What they want to do is first find the GM, and you could start making connections. So they're interviewing Joe Shane, who's up in Buffalo and has been Brandon Beane's number 2. And by the way, Pat, awesome dude.
Yeah,
he works with Brian Dable for years up there in Buffalo. So that would be like a natural connection. Like, all right, the Buffalo offensive coordinator, the Buffalo GM, go. With the Ravens prospect, this guy, Joe Ortiz, who's been in Baltimore for 20 years, if he comes in, okay, well, then is Wink Martindale a good connection because they've worked together? You start playing those games about connections and who's been where. But for the Giants, general manager will be the first thing they hire, and then the head coach will be what's after that.
Okay, well, good luck to the Giants. Can't wait to hear and see who they pick. Daniel Jones is dead there, right? I mean, that new GM, new coach, that is...
Not the case. No way that's not the case. Not the case.
New coach,
Jones,
new GM.
Daniel Jones has as much a shot to be on that team as any player on that team, and I'll tell you why. This quarterback draft class, it's nothing special. There's no young guy there. This free agency crop, yeah, there's some guys, but like to me, Daniel Jones, how could you make an assessment on Daniel Jones after having 3 different head coaches, 4 different offensive coordinators, 6,000 offensive linemen? Let's at least get another look at him with the new head coach before you say, let's go draft somebody else.
Yeah, but I mean, the new head coach and the new GM, whenever they've dreamt of these positions of being GM and head coach, they've already had in their mind what style of quarterback, who the quarterback would be. I just think, I don't know. If Daniel Jones is quarterback for the Giants next year with his 4th head coach or whatever, and however that plays out, like, good on him for continuing to impress, but I think everybody would do some favors of, like, get a fresh start. I think Danny Dimes deserves maybe a fresh start. I'm not saying it'll work out, but geez, that guy from draft day all the way through, basically, he has just been getting absolutely pummeled.
I know.
Hope all works out for him. He's an absolute stud. Let's move around a little bit. Catherine Rach, Philadelphia Eagles VP of Personnel, is getting an interview with the Minnesota Vikings for the general manager position. She would be the first woman since 1983 to hold a general manager position in the NFL. Catherine Rach is not a name that I think a lot of us had heard of before this announcement. Is that on us? How stupid are we for not knowing this? This feels pretty big.
No, it's a huge deal, and it's not just, hey, let's do it to check a box. This is a legitimate candidate to be a general manager right now, and I assure you that. So the last person to hold her title in Philadelphia was Andrew Berry, who is now the GM of the Cleveland Browns, and went from that job to interviewing with the Browns, the young, promising candidate, to now being one of the better general managers in the league. And what Catherine brings in that role is scouting, but also, I'm told, a heavy analytics bent too. She's one of the rare candidates that has done a lot in both fields, the business side as well, talking about salary cap and dealing with agents. She was an assistant general manager at the Canadian Football League and was getting a lot of buzz because when you go and you scout at these college bowl games, everyone's out there from the Argonauts to the Blue Bombers to the New York Jets to the Minnesota Vikings. And in this case, she made the connections necessary to get an interview with the Eagles. Howie Roseman brings her in, and she's been outstanding for 2 years there, that the Vikings want to meet her and pick her brain and then say, hey, if she is the best candidate, she will be the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings. But her resume, though different and isn't one of these 20-year scouts who's been living in a car looking at the East-West Shrine Bowl game, is very impressive in that she has worn a lot of hats for a lot of organizations. And in Philadelphia, they've been churning out GMs, Joe Douglas, Andrew Berry. They have a nice system there where they set these people up to succeed. And she might blow the doors off the Minnesota Vikings when she meets with the Wilf family in a couple days.
I mean, giving the Eagles credit for Andrew Berry is fascinating.
Colts guy.
Yeah.
Colts guy.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you doing it. Shout out to Catherine for real. But as soon as you started being like Andrew Berry, Philadelphia is like, ooh, I mean,
pump the brakes.
Hey, he is a
No,
Colts.
he's
He is a Colts guy.
He's a stud.
We would
He's a
like a
stud.
little bit of credit. I mean, you think he was sleeping on somebody's couch in Indianapolis at one point?
Huh.
And not mine. But I'm saying he was sleeping on a couch in Indianapolis at one point.
With a Harvard degree in his back pocket.
Isn't that
he's gonna
insane?
be all right.
Isn't that insane to think about? That literally, and I think about that with Ryan Fitzmagic, who would just run his face into like 10 people. I think a Harvard degree automatically gets you like into at least one VC or two of them, and they just figure out, hey, we'll figure out how to make all this money just filter into your pocket somehow. But instead,
That's why when I watch Juszczyk on the weekend holding for kicks and then blocking, I'm like, that dude went to an Ivy League school. Good for him for wanting to do this.
yeah, and I think it's like him proving to everybody that I can be like just like Andrew Luck. Andrew was so much smarter than every human he talked to in the football world, and he knew it. We knew it, but he was still able to just be incredibly tough. I think that's like a whole part of it. And Juszczyk was unbelievable. Let's bounce around a little bit some more.
Dude, before we go on, Robbie Gold, you got it. No one's everyone's talking about Jimmy G. Robbie Gold goes and is thrown into punt. 2 45-yard bomb punts in the clutch. Like, I thought of you right away. Like, what a performance from Robbie on the weekend.
Yeah, and he had a swing like a kicker too. I don't know if everybody saw that. And it's like such a a minute group of people that see that. But when you kick, obviously you're opening up like this, and you're coming through like a golf swing. When you're punting, everything is supposed to be like in a straight line, like straight ahead. So when he did like his warm-up punt, he was like swinging. I'm like, oh, that's going to go fucking 4 yards, Robbie. Like, you need to figure it out. But I thought he did beautiful. That's what Robbie Gold does, though. He's just like, that's why the Bears cut him.
That's right.
He's just too calm. Come on. Too good. He's just,
Steven.
get him out of Chicago,
Yeah.
dude. Let's talk about Chicago right now. What's going on up there? They're interviewing everybody. Like literally every human is on a graphic that Zito has made because he's a Chicago Bears fan to potentially be the head coach for the Bears or the GM for the Bears. They hired Bill Polian, who I'm sure, he knows a lot about football. Does he know anything about the current landscape? Not 100% sure. I guess we will find out how much say he has. I'm excited for him to be a part of the conversation piece again. But how much of these interviews are bullshit, trying to get information from people? And how much of them are like everybody has an actual shot in getting in there? And how many realistic head coaches are kind of in this group of people, you think, as we go forward?
Yeah, and I think you go into different buckets. You go into the former head coach, bucket where it's guys who have been there, done that, and it's like, hey, we need some stabilization here, and I'm going to give this guy another shot, whether it be anyone from Dan Quinn to Marvin Lewis, who might get interviewed, and you're hearing Jim Caldwell's name. Like, those names are legit. Jim's your guy. But then you get the young upstart coordinator, and it's like a certain franchise might just want a fresh start with a fresh face, and that could be anything from Brandon Staley to Sean McVay to one of those. Or you get the guys who year after year have been banging on the door, whether it be Eric Bieniemy or several of these other, Byron Leftwich or some of these other coordinators that have said, hey, I've had the interviews before, it just hasn't clicked yet. Now's my time. Each team is going to be different. I think each GM is going to be different with who they prefer and who they want to bring in. But in a lot of cases, here's how I would connect the dots. Where are your connections? Where are the people that have worked together before? Because time and time again, it'll come out and it'll be like, hey, this guy worked with this guy 3 years ago, and they can just open up the suitcase and say, hey, let's just start unpacking things right now because we speak the same language and we've been there and we've done it before. I find that could be looking like an old boys club, but it's not necessarily that. A lot of that is just, I trust this person. I've been down this road, and this is my first opportunity as a general manager. I want to be able to go do this. Or I'm a coach, and gosh, I want to work with a guy that I know I've been through the trenches with before.
Hey, we just did this like 4 years ago. We all got fired, but we can fucking do it again.
Let's do it again. Let's run
We got to do it again, bro.
We can do it. Let's run it back. Hey, we got a taste of it the first time. Now we get a chance to actually do it. That has happened before. Bill stunk in Cleveland. He goes up to New England. He's absolutely great. Pete Carroll stunk in New England. He goes up to Seattle. He's great. There is hey, let's run it back and see how we can do the second time. But it feels like a lot of these cases, it's like, oh, these are all the same people and they all stink. That young upstart offensive coordinator getting an opportunity like Sean McVay, your friend, kind of changed the game completely is wild, because I assume there's so many different emotions that go on in those interviews. When somebody like McVay comes in, is like, okay, we're going to use the rules, okay, and we're going to have these guys flying around, and we're going to be doing all these, we're going to be doing all, like, that energy is probably like, oh shit, like, all right, this is the future. This is what we need to be doing. And then immediately following, like, a young offense coordinator who has that type of energy, you have Jim Caldwell come in. Jim Caldwell comes in, just very matter of fact, calm. Listen, we're going to show up every day. We're going to work. We're going to do this process. It's going to be a build. It's going to be a climb. After wins, we're going to be happy, but not too happy. Like, this is a very calming thing. That has to be a ride for those owners that have to make those decisions. Because I assume you get caught up because you're a human. You're like, oh, I love that. And then somebody else comes, this person, I don't know about this. You're too much. And it's got to be tough. It's got to be very difficult to make those decisions, Schrags.
It's great they say it, because, okay, let's do last year, for example. You will not find two different personalities in the room than Arthur Smith and Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh is going to knock you out, and it's going to be, let's get in a phone booth and wrestle. And then Arthur Smith is, let's talk about the philosophy behind why the zone read works. Like all that stuff. And yet those guys were interviewing for the same jobs. And Atlanta saw Arthur Smith as the right fit for them, and the Jets, for what they needed, was Robert Saleh. Now, there are two wild card candidates that I've seen getting interviews that I think are worth mentioning as far as young upstarts go. And I haven't seen him get interviewed anywhere else. But Mike McDaniel getting an interview in Miami is fascinating to me. So he is off the LaFleur, Shanahan, McVay tree. And he was with Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta. He's been in San Francisco. He's the run game coordinator right now.
Of course.
In San Francisco. And now is their offensive coordinator
He's got a press
in San
conference
Fran.
going.
Okay? So think about their run game and that whole scheme. Mike McDaniel is one of these masters of that. He's like 36, went to Yale, wears glasses, and is hilarious. And is like a wise ass and is funny and is one of these guys that the players love. And Miami's the only team I see interviewing. But if you watch that run game, now, it's Kyle Shanahan's baby. And that's, of course, because Kittle and Juszczyk and Trent Williams are damn good, and Debo. But, like, the mastermind, the quiet one in the background is Mike McDaniel. And I'm curious to see if he gets more. The other one is a guy who was in Indy for a bit and went with Sirianni out to Philly as the defensive coordinator of the Eagles right now, JG, Jonathan Gannon, who is another high-energy, high-octane, and you've got veterans on that defense, the Brandon Grahams, the Fletcher Coxes, and the Darius Slays, and these guys love him. So first-year coordinators, really rare. Like Brandon Staley was one, and Sean McVay was one. Really rare to see them get opportunities as head coaches, but those are two that are really intriguing to me, Jonathan Gannon and Mike McDaniel.
If Mike McDaniel is the next Ernie Adams. Need to make that higher stat. Is he GM or coach? He's going for coach.
Coach, bro, go find Mike McDaniel when he first did his opening press conference when he was announced as OC to San Francisco. He basically gets up there and he's like 5'9", maybe I'm being disrespectful. Maybe he's 5'11", and he's skinny, and he's like, hi, everybody. I know, you probably haven't met me before, and I'm so physically imposing, like self-deprecating. And they were like, what is this guy? Like, hilarious dude. Okay. You would love him.
Okay, cool. I'm excited. Hopefully he'll be able to have a press conference every single week. That'd be great for Miami, Dahn.
Yeah.
That'd be much different than what Tua just went through.
That's right.
And then I can't wait for I'm JG. You call me coach. Like, I can't wait. Maybe he gets an opportunity. I'm excited for that guy. I love high-energy people. Go ahead, Tom.
Schrags, you tweeted yesterday that Daboll and Leslie Frazier are interviewing with the Dolphins, I believe, on Sunday. They got a game on Saturday night. Are they not preparing for the Patriots, and they're preparing for their interview with the Dolphins?
What?
It's one of the quirky deals with this scheduling stuff. So if you have a bye this week, and that's Nathaniel Hackett, who is going to be interviewing for several jobs this week with the Packers. He's the offensive coordinator. They're allowed to do it. If you don't have a bye, you can't do this week, but you can do over the weekend and early next week before the divisional round. Now, I just got word before I came on with you guys, Leslie has asked and has had it pushed back to later next week. So he won't be Sunday morning. But win or lose, Brian Daboll is interviewing for the Miami Dolphins head coaching job. Now, he's got the biggest game of his life this weekend. They're playing the Patriots in a rubber match, and it's Saturday night in the 0 degrees. I can assure you he is grinding for the Patriots right now and preparing for that. But this is time and time again that this is how the NFL has built it, that, yes, the next morning, regardless, he needs to get ready, and whether it's on Zoom or in person, he needs to be ready to go meet with Stephen Ross and Chris Greer and sell them on why he's the next coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Hey, I could just go win a Super Bowl and say, like, that's why you should hire me, but also let me put all this work away, and let me tell you why you should pay me to come to the 305. That is interesting. I know they were trying to change rules there for the final 2 weeks of the season and maybe do that whole thing. That is just because I guess if you wait till after the Super Bowl, everybody else is already. There just has to be some sort of guidelines. There'll be a tampering period, no matter how they change.
I remember, and you guys will roll your eyes and you'll laugh at it now because he's since been fired. But I'll remember that there was a crazy Sunday night game or Sunday afternoon game between the the Chiefs and the Titans, and Mariota threw a pick, and Darrelle Revis had it, and it bounced off him, and Mariota scores, and it was this heartbreaking loss for the Chiefs at home with Alex Smith, probably his last game, and literally 12 hours later, Matt Nagy interviewed for the Bears and got the job like 12 hours after that, and the whirlwind was so crazy, and I'm like, you had a game, 12 hours ago, and you're interviewing for the Bears, and then you get the job, and Nagy's the man. He was coach of the year, so it's not like he didn't have at least that good first year. But that's how crazy this situation is, that these guys put their heart and soul into everything into this playoff game, and then in less than 12 hours, they need to interview for the job of a lifetime, and they just have to be ready and ready to go.
Yeah, these coaches, interesting how they can do that and kind of give and take. Also, general managers as well. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Schrags, have you talked to your pal McVay about Kelly Stafford's comments regarding the away games going on in their home stadium and how there were more 49ers fans and how Stafford had to use a silent count at home?
Jimmy G didn't.
And Jimmy G did not, yeah.
And Jimmy G didn't. I watched that game.
Great quote from Kelly, by the way.
Yeah.
I fucking love
Kelly.
it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you guys have a little empire over there. Kelly Stafford's pretty darn good behind the mic also. She is really good host at that podcast that she does. And it's an interesting perspective that she has, and she's not lying. And as much as I love McVay and the Rams organization, that place was a sea of red on Sunday, and it couldn't be denied because the broadcast, we had all the audio and all that. So her saying that, I'm sure it wasn't a press release they'd put out from the Rams organization, but she's spitting the truth. And I think they're going to be fine Monday night with Cardinals fans, whatever. But moving forward, I think with that building and that stadium, when they play the Niners coming in there, that's going to be a thing to watch because that Niners fan base travels and that Rams fan base is still being built up.
What is it? So you're telling me like Larry David and LeBron and all them are selling their suites to the opposing team? Is that what they're doing?
I don't think they're worried about the suites, dude. I think that's
isn't it all suites?
I'm talking
A lot of suites.
bleacher seats and all that. Those Niners fans traveled.
Yeah, it was awesome, actually. I was pretty proud of him. I was excited about it, actually. Last question here, Schrags. We can't thank you enough for joining us on this morning. We know you're Emmy-nominated and have all the inside information, so we appreciate it.
Thank you, Schrags.
Go ahead, Ty.
Schrags, what the hell's going on with Russell Wilson? He's giving everyone this mumbo-jumbo that he wants to stay in Seattle, and then he's posting the cryptic pictures at the light at the end of the tunnel. Is he out of town? All the news coming out about him maybe going to the Giants. Have you heard anything like that in New York, or is Russell Wilson going to end up staying put?
I'm very interested to see. Now, here's the one thing that is being kind of disregarded with a lot of these conversations about Pete Carroll's future and John Schneider's future and Russell Wilson's future. Nobody knows anything because the owner right now is Jody Allen, Paul Allen's sister, and she doesn't communicate with the reporters. She doesn't talk to the media. And if there is a Woj or a Shams or a Schefter who has a plug-in with Jody Allen, please let me know because Jody Allen's worth something about, I don't know, $10 to $50 billion. And if everyone's worried about Pete Carroll being, well, they wouldn't want to fire Pete. He's got a contract through 2025 and he's do all this money. Money's not an issue. Okay. So money's not an issue. So whatever she wants to do, it hasn't been made public and it hasn't really been made obvious. So I don't know what Russell's intentions are. I also don't know what the owner is looking for.
I love this. I love that she isn't telling anybody shit. I love it.
She's telling shit, and she also owns the Blazers now, and I think they're going through some of that too in Portland, where it's like people are speculating on Lillard and all this stuff, and it's like this owner does not deal with the media. She's the late Paul Allen's sister, and she's there, and maybe they know internally what's going on with Russell Wilson. Maybe they don't. Maybe they know it's with people like. anyone who's coming in here as the expert trying to tell you they know what the Seattle Seahawks future is probably blowing smoke up your ass right now, because Russell, he's got a no-trade deal, but he also is under contract for another 2 years. So let's see how this thing whole plays out. But I'm not rushing to judgment on anything, and I'm certainly not attaching him to any other teams.
Shams, by the way.
What'd I say, Shams? I like his work.
Well, you just said he's a sham.
Yeah, whoa.
You know?
He's like,
Call the guy Sham.
You said, hey,
like
look
really
at
good.
this guy, all the
Really
shams.
good.
Shams, the basketball guy.
Shams, you
Big
said.
time Sham.
Shams.
the hoops guy.
Hey, he dabbles in the NFL every once in a while, too. He'll come over
I know.
during
I remember he's breaking draft picks. I'm like, dude, we're not allowed to do that. Stop it, because I could do it too. Get out of my head. I don't come in here. I'm not here breaking. Cam Reddish was traded for Kevin Knox. I don't try that shit. Stay in your own lane.
Hey, he broke some politics shit, too. He got into the politics
Did he?
inside. Yeah. I don't know.
Does he have thoughts about Dr. Joe Rogan or no?
I don't know if he broke any news on Dr. Joe Rogan or not. We should look into that. We'll ask him. I think he's joining us in the next hour. But
Bro, AJ made me laugh so hard. I was watching the interview, and he starts talking about Alex Jones. I was like, AJ's good. It's very funny.
Bro,
Very humorous.
yeah. Well, you think it's funny. Try, because he is just, all AJ does is sit in his little attic in Ohio and just toss grenades in. He's like, go ahead and have a good time out there. I'm like, Jesus. There's people I don't even know who he's referencing that are incredibly toxic. And I'm like, all right, we can't be doing that, AJ. But that's what this show is all about. And we thank you for joining us. We appreciate you for giving us information. You're going to be at the Super Bowl, obviously. I assume they're going to have.
Please hang out.
Hey, your set is going to be,
baby.
I bet you guys are going to have something delicious out there, huh?
We'll see. I'm not so sure about the set where it is. Our show airs at 4 a.m. Pacific. Let's see how much money they're putting into our set. I'm not so sure about that, my friend.
Oh, no.
I had not thought of that.
I mean, 4 a.m. is very early. I mean, there's
4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Might as well plug it. We're going to be on. We're doing East Coast time. I'm actually excited. It'll be fun. But, I don't know if we're going to be out on the Santa Monica Pier at 4 a.m. Let's just say that.
I would like to let everybody know we will be on Eastern time, too. We're going to do our thing.
That's
Are
right.
you really? What time are you guys doing?
Well, 9 a.m. to 1:30-ish.
Are you going to have guests? I know you're going to have here's Hall of Fame legend from the 1984 Cincinnati Bengals. Can I come on one day?
No, well, listen, we ain't doing no 1984. Maybe Cincinnati Bengals because they're back. Maybe Cincinnati Bengals because they're out there. But we're trying to figure that all out now and what we're going to do down there, because FanDuel they have little real estate in the Radio Row, and it looks amazing. But also, I don't know what all the rules are going to be. Does the show quality dip because we're going to be in? I don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
I don't know COVID rules. I don't know guest rules. But 2 years ago, Miami, it was on, and then the pandemic hit. And I don't know what Super Bowl is like this year. I just know this. If you are having guests or if you're having a party, I will stand 6 feet apart from all you, but I would love to hang in person.
Okay, yeah, we'd love to have you, by the way. You need to stop by, need to see you, need to chat with you in real life. We appreciate you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Emmy-nominated host of Good Morning Football, Fox Sports Football Insider, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager. Thank you. I mean, we're going to have to tell Shams about what he just said.
Yeah, that was messed up.
That was unbelievable.
Spit in his face.
All right, we got to get to a break. We'll be back on the other side, wrapping up this first hour with some phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line. Call as soon as we get the break, because somebody will have to go answer the phones. Mitt will be back on Monday. We can't wait for that. Bruce Brown is currently battling against that son of a bitch COVID. He's to you, Bruce. We appreciate you. Zito will probably be answering the phone calls during this break. We'll see you.
Nice.
That's all I answered.
Little preview.
Let me hear it.
What's up?
Hey, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Had a baby Z.
Had a baby Z. We appreciate you doing that. We'll see you in 4 minutes. We'll answer some phone calls in hour 2 with AJ Hawk, Jordan Poyer. I believe Shams Charania will be joining us in the third hour, and Chuck Pagano will be here as well.
Okay.
I mean, we got a packed show. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Let's get to it. They say, how do we play in the same game parlay holiday? And they say, show us the way to the same game parlay holiday. It's for the wild card games in the same game parlay holiday. That's this weekend.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Play-by-play legend, Al Michaels.
Yeah!
What's up, man?
You know, I decided to dress for success.
I respect.
I've been working out all week, baby, just to be your doppelganger. And I got to tell you something. You know, I don't know what the future's going to hold next year, but if you got a spot for me, either in the studio or I can play the role of AJ Hawk as well.
We have room for you wherever, whenever. Okay, so let's dive right into it. You know that I exist. This is awesome.
I love this show.
No.
This is everything I dreamed about, right? No holds barred television. None.
How long you been in the game? TV game? I said forever, but I should have done more research. This is 100% on me.
How about 1968? I did the Hawaii Islanders of the Pacific Coast League. Minor league baseball. Then on to the Cincinnati Reds in 1971. That's 50 freaking years ago. Marty Brennaman succeeded me for the next 44. I did 3 years there, and then I went to San Francisco. The Giants tripled my salary. And that's why. And then ABC for 30 years and NBC for 16. And here we are, man.
The system crashed out. Only one camera is of use at this moment. For those that are watching at home, we apologize. This must be a feel-good Friday.
I can't believe that the cameras aren't working on today of all days.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
This is the universe.
Oh, hey, pal. How you doing?
Gabagool. I need a nice cold Bud Light.
Oh, you're fucking out!
How's your fan? How's your fan?
Maybe a couple whiskeys.
What?
80,000 individual eyes that are looking at these eyes right now. What the fuck are you doing?
2 scotches.
What?
Are you kidding me?
Tequila.
What?
55, 56, 63. That's how many new wrinkles I'm going to bring to the office.
I get things done, Patty.
Vodka.
What?
He said I was on meth. I ain't ever done meth.
Dirty dressed up like Russell Wilson.
Margarita.
What?
He's Brett Michaels.
You're fucking out!
More ice cold Bud Light.
What?
More ice cold Bud Light.
What?
More ice cold Bud Light.
What?
Ice cold.
Cheers.
Thanks everybody watching. Hey, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on this glorious Coach Us Up Chuck Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Here we go. Hour one has flown by. We just got off a conversation with the beautiful Peter Schrager. While we were chatting with him, a lot was going on in the Chris Ballard press conference. We were planning on getting to the phones, and we do have some on the line. Shout out to Zito. What's up? But we got to talk about what Chris Ballard said in his press conference because it's very fascinating. He went on to say at some point, we did not get to listen to all of it because we were live at the same exact time, but one quote out of the Chris Ballard press conference wrapping up this 2022 year that saw the Colts getting knocked out of the playoffs in Clontown.
Worst team in the league.
No. We embarrassed ourselves, we embarrassed our owner, and embarrassed our city. Okay, so I don't know if that is enough for all of Indianapolis to be like okay with everything that happened, but I do believe Colts fans are going to appreciate Chris Ballard at least acknowledging reality. Because I think in Hard Knocks last night with Frank Reich's speech, although I'm a former player and I understand what he was trying to do to the team and the relationships that they had and the trust and respect, a lot of the fans are like, this is bullshit, okay? Like this is a little bit too nice. This is a little bit too kumbaya, especially for what just happened, especially when the thought all year was that there was going to be a Super Bowl run here. So I think Chris coming out today and saying a lot of things is going to change some people's minds on how We just ended series right there.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, I tried to get a sentence completed. But
Yeah. Good tease. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
How what?
shit.
How what?
Go to YouTube.
Damn it.
Go to YouTube.
It was a tease, dude. It was an absolute tease. But how they're viewing Chris and Frank potentially, I'm not 100% sure. But as he continued to speak, and we don't know which came first or which came next, he also went on to address Carson Wentz. And Chris Ballard said, when he was talking about Carson Wentz, he said, at the time, we felt it was the right decision. I'm not going to make a comment on who is going to be here next year and who is not. He says there was good and bad from Wentz this past year. This comes from at KBowen1070. Kevin Bowen. Kevin Bowen used to work for the Colts. Now he works for 1070 The Fan down here in Indianapolis. Good dude, by the way. Kevin Bowen. Big fan.
Guy.
Big fan of this dude. You heard him on Hard Knocks all year because he and 1070 The Fan, his show, were basically a prominent part of telling the story, how you go through there. Shout out to Kevin Bowen. He also allegedly told Siciliano that whenever he talked to Carson yesterday after the game, he told Carson, hey, you just got to make the layups, make the layups, make the layups. So this is a attitude towards Carson in the Colts that I don't think we've seen publicly for some time, but fans have been expecting and hoping for, because although they appreciated the good times that came with Carson Wentz, and there was a few.
Sure. Well,
this place is used to seeing some pretty elite level quarterbacking.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever Carson Wentz, does his stuff, and listen, Carson's probably a great guy. I mean, he drives Bobcat, so Ty's going to judge him forever.
Yeah, but he is a great guy.
But he is a great guy. Like, I think a lot of people in Indiana are like, hey, good guy, great guy. He lives his own life. He does things his own way, whatever the case. A lot of people probably hate him for some of the decisions he makes, whatever. I don't think this is about him as a person. But as a football player, I think a lot of people are very disappointed with how this Colts season ended. And hey, it's probably this guy's fault if we had to get into it. And now that leads to the next question that Joe brought up yesterday whenever he called in. Who's calling the plays? Because then is it also their fault? And I think that's why Frank Reich has been so open about why he has made decisions, why he's done his thing. Everybody knows that they're being talked to. And I think with the way how they're being talked about, I think the way Chris Ballard talked today, just by reading the quotes, I'm going to assume that maybe Jim Irsay also had some end of the year thoughts for Chris Ballard and Frank Reich. I paid Quentin, I paid Darius, I paid DeForest, I paid Carson, I paid everybody, right? I literally, we had Hard Knocks in here. Yeah. We had almost an MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. Frank, you're up for Coach of the Year. We had this entire thing going and humming. I'm fully invested. I'm day-to-day here. I'm giving everything I possibly can. How the fuck does the team end up like this? I think Jim is right for probably asking some questions. I'm not 100% sure if he did, but it feels like the tone from Ballard was, hey, we got to answer some of this shit, which I appreciate. I want to let him know I appreciate that, even though I haven't heard it at all yet.
Well, and we've said it 1,000 times, but like you look at that graphic, you can't have the NFL's leading rusher and two like generational talents on your line and just miss the playoffs. And I think part of it could be is you look at all the other stuff the Colts did this year with Irsay, like Peyton going into the Ring of Honor, Robert Mathis going into the Ring of Honor, Edge and Peyton going into the Hall of Fame, like kind of brings back those memories of like, hey, like
and Reggie's going in soon.
Exactly. Like you kind of have all this nostalgia around you of like, hey, we used to be one of the best teams in the NFL, and now we're getting beat by a division rival who's the worst team in the NFL, and we're not making the playoffs. Like, that's just unacceptable.
And I think Jim Irsay and Peyton have become like actual friends and probably business partners, if I had to guess. But national championship game, we were there, no big deal.
No big deal.
Sweet.
No big deal.
What?
But the suite we were above was Jim Irsay's suite, which was below us. And at one point, the sheriff came up, and said, hey, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Good to see him. Good chatting with him. He talked to Jimmy Pitaro. Awesome. It was great to see the big guy. And he was going back down into Irsay's suite, and there's pictures of Peyton and his kid, Marshall, were in Jim's suite, and that whole thing. I'd assume, Jim and Peyton chatted about some stuff about quarterback play and maybe even nostalgia about, hey, Peyton, you remember when you blah, 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 blah. And Peyton probably deflected it, but at the same time, Jim Irsay doing exactly what you're saying, like, we got a guy now who sprained both of his ankles on one play. Mm-hmm. This guy sprained both of his ankles in one play, this guy. I mean, he's overthrowing people by 10 yards and things that are game-deciding plays. It's like, although he is good and has made some good plays, we used to be the team. And I'm talking to this guy, Peyton, on a regular basis. It is fascinating. And I wonder if Hard Knocks was filming all of that. That'd be sweet.
The comment from Ballard about at the time we thought it was a good decision or the right decision is basically like Jackie Moon saying, at the time I thought it was a good idea to wrestle Dewey the Bear in that cage.
Yeah. And at the time, they needed a washer and dryer, so we had to pull the trigger and get
corn dogs, Jackie.
Corn dogs for everybody in
Doesn't
here.
sound good for Carson.
No, and then there's another quote, I guess, that just came through the text from Taylor Tannenbaum, who works for WTHR, which is the local NBC affiliate, Channel 13. Shout out to everybody at WTHR. Colts GM Chris Ballard doesn't want to keep band-aiding the quarterback position. I'd like Carson Wentz to be the long-term answer, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. It's been a QB carousel since Ballard arrived in Luck's retirement, and I don't know if that quote, is necessarily his answer for Carson, or if he was explaining the entire situation about how Jacoby we thought was potentially going to be the long-term answer, and other people were there going to be a long-term answer, and maybe that's not directly about Carson, but none of these statements are like, hey, Carson's our guy, which is a conversation piece for the entire NFL because they're going to go get a quarterback if they need one. And Jim Irsay's going to spend that money, and the Colts going to win a couple championships this decade. Fuck off. Hour 2 in 5, 3, 2, 1. What?
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to that show. Hour 2 on this Coach Us Up Chuck Thursday, January 13th, 2022 shall begin right now. We'll have Jordan Poyer joining us at this hour at some point. I'm not 100% sure I have the... I don't have the updated thing. I don't have the updated thing. No, it's 100% my fault. Jordan Poyer will be joining us in the next hour. Shams Charania will be here. Chuck Pagano will be here. And obviously, joining us right now, a Super Bowl champion, college football national champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor, Aaron James Hawk. What's up, dude?
What's happening? How'd Strikes do?
Strikes are good.
Spitting Shams' face.
He talked about you mentioning, he called Shams Shams. He called Shams Shams, gave us a bunch of information.
Was he joking?
Nope. No. He was on a run, actually. He was in the middle of it, so we didn't want to necessarily interrupt him, but also, hey, don't disrespect our guy like that. His name is Shams. We don't need people
He
to
also
think.
said stay in his lane.
Yeah, and he also said,
Forget
like,
that.
hey, Shams, we're not allowed to break the draft picks. Okay, we could all be doing that. Shams is what Schrager said, but he also said that he respects his work and he appreciates him. So I didn't know. There seemed to be a lot of compliments, but it's the insider game. He did mention that he enjoyed your Alex Jones reference the other day. So shout out to your toxicity getting a pop from Peter Schrager.
Oh, with Aaron. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Peter.
What's your problem?
What's your problem? You all right?
I was trying to think when I made an Alex Jones comment. What do you mean? We do a lot of shows, man.
Yeah, I know.
You make a lot of comments.
Believe me. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. People say, you remember when you said blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I'm going to have to check the tape. I'm going to have to check the tape. I don't know if that's what I said. Oh, you did. Oh, really? Well, things have changed then.
Never said that.
Things have changed then since then because let's dive into some things that have changed. This Carson Wentz narrative is getting more and more interesting by the day. And I know we live in Indianapolis, and we're the only show really based around this area, and we're probably the only people other than Hard Knocks that talk about the Colts on a regular basis this particular season because the run that they were supposed to go on was going to be glorious. Chris Ballard had his presser, year-end presser here that started like an hour and 4 minutes ago. A lot of quotes coming out basically about like, hey, we made a decision at the time much different now. We embarrassed our city. We embarrassed our owner. We embarrassed our team. I think Jim Irsay's letting them know, like, hey, this is not acceptable. And I don't know if that's the case. I've not asked Jim Irsay if that's the case, but it feels like through Chris Ballard's tone or Chris Ballard legitimately pissed off that the roster he thought was a great one did not even get to the playoffs.
I mean, don't you think Chris Ballard, absolutely is pissed off? I mean, he's getting heat from the owner. And Jim Irsay, I was thinking of him, too, because we went to that national championship game on Monday. It's at his stadium. He's there, hosting Peyton Manning. And, do you think Irsay can really even enjoy that huge experience because it just got blasted by the Jags 18 hours before that?
I think Jim Irsay has an ability to compartmentalize some stuff to have a good time, and take in the moment and what it is. But I believe Peyton did allude to the fact that a lot of the conversation he has had with him has been about what happened with the Colts. And Ty brought this up last hour. The reminiscing, Edgerrin James goes into the Hall of Fame. They're riding around in drop tops on 24s and giving Bentleys. They're running highlights of those teams. And Reggie's about to go in. And Robert Mathis went into the Ring of Honor. And Freeney was around. And Vinatieri, it's like the glory days are happening. And Jim Irsay's fully invested again in the team around. He's getting more and more popular. I think people are starting to learn more about Jim Irsay, the human, as opposed to Jim Irsay, the narrative that they have heard for their entire life. There ain't no way he's necessarily thrilled that in Clanton, the Colts got knocked out. Like Jim, around here, and this is going to sound so like grandstanding, but it's real. This team hasn't been around for anywhere near the amount of generations that other teams have that have fan bases that travel incredibly and, like 4 generations deep, like, hey, this city runs on the happiness of the Colts. But this city has a different thing. This city knows good football, has seen great football, and is used to great football. They once stunk. Then a guy came in from Tennessee, and an entire team came in, and they went on to have the winningest decade in NFL history, and that's when a lot of Indiana and Indianapolis became Colts fans. So when then Luck comes in, here's another fucking baller, dude. And then he's out, and then all of a sudden now it's trying to figure it out, and we're paying $30 million, which is probably more than what they paid Peyton in some years. Yeah. And this guy's making this money, and he's out. It's like the expectations are real, and Irsay knows that. Irsay has those expectations as well.
Irsay has done a good job of doing that. So, yeah, you have Peyton Manning come in, completely change the whole franchise. Like, we're so used to the Colts being dominant for so long. And then they draft Andrew Luck, number 1 overall. And this dude it's like going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers almost, like how Andrew was, how great he truly could be. And then, obviously, the dude is so reckless and doesn't care about his body. He gets banged up just because he's playing. He's such a tough guy. But he is such a stud, and they had that. I guess they're trying to figure that out now. Like, how do we get to a bridge person to our next Aaron Rodgers, our next Peyton Manning?
How about just the thought of Jim Irsay saying to Peyton, brother Pat talked about, he sprained both of his ankles one play. I've been around the game my entire life. I've never, and that's the most important position. I'm paying this guy $30 fucking million. Yeah. And this guy's spraining both of his ankles on one throwaway play with Aaron Donald draped around him. You can be tough. You can be, no play left behind. I think everybody respects that. But that is a microcosm of what everybody thinks about Carson Wentz. He's so reckless. Reckless with his body, reckless with the ball. And whenever you have to call into those moments where he's got to find it and make the layups, it's like nothing really feels like a given with him. And I don't know, if, and you said the narrative on Carson Wentz is out. We've seen him. You said he stinks, basically. I don't know if he stinks because there are some moments where he looks unbelievable and he got a $100 million contract. But the greats, right? The greats are able to eliminate all that bullshit that makes you just sleep terribly at night whenever you think, our franchise is in the hands of a guy who doesn't seem to care about his health at all whenever he's out there dying, doesn't really care about the ball, was going to make a play, but he is going to give us his all and his energy is high. It's like such a fascinating thing. And when you got a guy, you have to keep him. I think that is what is the narrative and the story of this whole thing.
Well, and I think for me, a lot of Packers fans too, you get kind of brainwashed a little bit because I have been watching Favre and Rodgers for my entire life pretty much. And it's not that he stinks, but you just know, like, is his best going to be able to win you a Super Bowl? I don't think it is.
Well, and do you trust
right
that in the Super Bowl or in one of those big games where defenses are the best in the league, they're flying around, there's a lot of film on you, you just got to be able to execute. Is he going to be able to make that play and not, just make...
Not turn it over is the biggest thing. You don't want him to turn it over.
Yes, turnovers, an extra possession for somebody else in the playoffs is so big. Even if it's just jabbing, if they're sparring. Like, hey, 3 and out, maybe a first down or 2, and you punt it back and you're doing the whole thing. As soon as you just give up one of those possessions, the tide turns. It is just a very natural thing, especially when you have, the best in the game. With that being said, Tom Brady threw like 3 picks in that NFC Championship game against the Packers, and he still won some.
Yeah.
So you can get by with, I guess, quarterback play not being perfect, but I wonder if Chris Ballard, who's staring down probably some scrutiny from Jim, like, hey, you've built a great roster, but we need to get going.
But don't you think Chris Ballard, too classy of a guy, would never do it because he's such a team guy? But Chris Ballard's like, hey, I gave you 7 Pro Bowlers and a pretty solid roster. You would think we'd make the playoffs. So Chris Ballard could say, like, I'm not involved in football day to day. Now, obviously, he would never say that because he's a team guy, and team guys never would. But that has to be somewhat of the case, correct?
Well, and this is when GMs and coaches start to.
Dissension.
This is when it starts happening, right? When one outperforms the other, potentially. I'm not saying that is the case.
Like the offense or defense. Like, hey, our offense is awesome, our defense sucks. Like that, there can be some animosity when that happens.
And by the way, if one person is tied to the other person and one person is maybe not holding up their end of the bargain, you could potentially see in a position where there's only 32 of them with a lot of money on the line that there's a little bit of a, hey, what the fuck is going on? But Frank and Chris have been very, almost unexpectedly amount of, hey, same chemistry, same synergy. But
Hey, do you think they're on the same page when it comes to Carson Wentz?
Seemed like, right, with what Frank said, the way Frank answered that, I'm not getting into one, I'll get into a bunch of else.
Yeah.
Feels like that was a PR. That was a decision they made PR-wise. This is what we're going to talk about whenever this is asked. This is an easy answer. You don't want to get into this whole thing because Chris did the same thing. He said, I'm not going to get into every single player, but he didn't say anything glowing about Carson, which is kind of what Frank did.
Yeah, but Irsay doesn't give a shit. Like, we're talking about these Peyton Manning teams. They won one Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, if you don't win the Super Bowl, who gives a shit how good your team is? Like, if Ballard and Frank are buddy-buddy and, they're evaluating Wentz, Schrager just came on here and said Dan Jones is going to have his job next year.
How does that happen?
Because there's no rookie quarterbacks. And look, Russell Wilson, yeah, sure, he might be up. Do the Colts have a first-round pick? Do they have players they want to trade? You can cut Wentz and, pay $15 million, but are you bringing back Jacob fucking Eason to play quarterback?
No, they're getting Aaron Rodgers.
Sure, you're getting Aaron Rodgers. Aaron's going to go to Green Bay and come down to Indianapolis and play without
Aaron's
Devontae
coming to
Adams.
Indianapolis. That's what he's doing.
They're in a terrible position. Like, no wonder he's embarrassed. He knows how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. They have 7 goddamn Pro Bowlers, and they don't have Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning only went to 2, right?
And they didn't make the playoffs.
And they didn't make the playoffs. So, I mean, we can talk about how great the team is. They are dead. And how awesome the Peyton Manning time was and reminiscing. They only reminisce about how many more Super Bowls they should have won, not on how good the goddamn teams were.
You've never been in that reminisce room. I have.
Sure.
I have.
And Irsay promised 2 Super Bowls this decade, and Peyton Manning isn't walking through the fucking door.
Well, we can hope Andrew Luck is, though, because he was back in the stadium.
Yeah, sure.
That's right.
Need to get him on a workout program.
Is Andrew Luck better than Peyton Manning?
Man, how awesome would that be? If we saw Andrew like 2 months from now and he looks like he put on 15 pounds of muscle, I'm like, wait, we floated a rumor out there he's coming back to the Colts.
That has happened. I've seen Andrew Luck 150, maybe 170, looking like
riding a bike,
very, very small. And then we see a picture of him like 4 months later, and he is the most yoked specimen of all time. Like when he is full, hey, I'm going to probably eat 15 tackles today. I'm probably going to get beat up. He is an avatar of a man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Drumbalone sandwiches, Paul.
No. What are
Really?
you talking about? He's natural build, dude.
He was towering over RG3 at that championship.
He's an ox.
He's huge.
He
Gets
is
on
an
a good
ox.
program.
His head is gigantic. He's a big human.
He is, and he used to be able to move so fast, and so he was a dude. And we talked to Schrager about this with Juszczyk, being a Harvard guy, and there's this, yoked, dude. Just fucking yoked, bro.
Yeah.
Helmet on, though.
Yeah.
Is he retired? Is
Protects
he retired here?
most valuable
No,
asset.
this was when he was still in the league, I believe.
Jeez, yeah.
I think this was before the season before he retired, I think, because we saw a picture like 2 months or 3 months before that, and it looked like he weighed 170, and then we saw this, and it was like, Andrew's
shit.
going to win the MVP this year.
He's all the way back. He's loving ball. This guy loves to be working out, and he's all the way in. I'm intrigued by it all because the super smart dudes like Andrew has disappeared completely. There's been speculation, but there has seemed to be no short of happiness in Andrew Luck's life from anybody that you've talked to that talks to him. It's like, he's loving life. He has a family. He's out in the middle of nowhere. Then he shows up at a football camp. It's like, well, is he missing? Is he missing a game a little bit? Getting back out there, throwing the ball. This is still fun. And the salary cap's at $202 million. You automatically go like, maybe he's thinking about it. Maybe he is thinking about it. Then he just disappeared again. By the way, for 2 months, didn't see him again until he's going into the College Football Hall of Fame with an incredible mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely incredible mustache, and seemed to be very happy. And there has been zero conversations at all that he's coming back into football or looks like he's coming back into football. I have the utmost respect for somebody that can just flip the switch and then flip it off as well and be like, nah, I ain't doing it. I'm moving on. I'm one of the best engineers on earth if I really wanted to be. This is not a problem at all.
Is it engineer or architect?
Yeah, sorry, architect.
Either one. Probably say he probably both.
No,
so
no,
he,
architect. I think.
Oh,
I think architects are.
Well,
but
not
which
all.
one?
Not all.
Is this square rectangle thing?
Kind
An engineering of architecture.
I believe he was an engineer major from Stanford.
No, I think it was architect. Yeah, he's an architect. I think he's an architect. But it might have been architectural engineering.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we're all right. Cheers
Nailed
to
it.
us, dude.
Cheers.
Do it all.
Cheers.
Cheers to Andrew, by the way. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot for his brain to take on.
heavy
While
course
also,
load.
It is architect design.
Well, architect. While also making it into the College Football Hall of Fame for how he played football. He was able to do all that shit while also playing football. Finished his degree, missed some OTAs, came back, knew more of the playbook than everybody else. That is awesome. Good for him. Just good for a brain on that guy.
He also happens to be an engineering major.
Boom.
Okay. All right. So
We were all right.
We're all right. Okay. So he knocked out an engineering degree, an architectural degree, almost won a Heisman, number 1 overall pick, College Football Hall of Fame. That is a next level. That is a next level human being. Zito, I understand you're trying to prove you were right.
No, it's engineering college, though.
I assume Diggs could do the same thing with
No,
what
it's
he just.
engineering college.
Oh, it's within the engineer.
Yes,
So
yeah.
square rectangle.
Yes. Yeah.
So all architects are engineers.
Yes.
Not all engineers are architects.
So it is.
Nice.
Thank you, Zito.
We did
That's
it.
why we did it. Yep.
Oh, right there on top.
Yep.
Let's go!
Yes, look at us.
Good work, Zito. I feel like we're very smart. I feel like we're very intelligent. Not as smart as Andrew Luck, though.
True. Yeah.
Which gets us back to the entire point of this thing. If he was to just come back and play football here in Indianapolis, Jim would put a statue up right next to Peyton's. Hey, thanks for coming back, dude. We fucking need you. And he was at I don't know if he was in the suite. I never, stopped by Irsay Suite. I don't think we were invited, but it seemed like everybody else that played for the Colts was. And Andrew was in there. Peyton was in there. Jim's in there.
What?
Is there a little bit of we could start that room right now. Jimmy from the Colts maybe stopped by and said,
You
hey.
think the four families sat down together and reached an agreement?
You think that the Irsays, the Mannings, the Lucks, and whoever else was in there sat down at a round table while the boys of the Georgia Bulldogs were living out a dream in Indianapolis. 80% of their fans were there. 20% of Alabama fans were there. That was really a dog walk there in the second half late.
Yeah.
You playing football again or what? We can start this fucking exercise and dieting program right now. You look way too small, obviously. We're going to have to put some weight on you. I don't know. That'd be crazy. And I think that's the only way, right? Who do the Colts get?
Nobody.
It's a nice fantasy to say Aaron
Great point
Rodgers.
Connor brings up. Don't you think, Pat? Like, it's true. Like, all right, when we say we want to fire coaches all the time, college coaches especially, okay, cool, you want to fire them? Do you have, like, 2 or 3 other candidates that you think are better suited for this gig? Like, that's kind of the deal with the Colts. It does sound like they're ready to move on from Carson, though.
And I think, like, the thing about everything is when you question something and you don't have the answer, the immediate response is, oh, that's nice. You have no actual things that can fix the problem. You just have a problem. And in this particular case, I guess with what everybody has been telling us, we should have been thinking that. And by we, I mean me. If we do move on from Carson or Frank, who are we get? Who are we getting? That's probably what Jim's doing right now in his office with his guitars and drums and stuff.
Yeah, realizing they have nobody. And even for Luck, like, it is impressive you can turn that switch on and off. Peyton Manning watches Monday Night Football, and he's basically playing in the game. Like, the difference between Luck and Peyton and those guys is that they can never turn the switch off. Like, they only are the most competitive and want to win it more than anything. Like, Andrew Luck was great, absolutely, but he went to one AFC championship game, and you guys got fucking smoked. Like,
the balls are flat.
Yeah, of course. The balls are flat. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a prick.
Right?
Yeah, they were.
Honestly.
They were.
I mean, I didn't feel
Got the
said
doors
balls,
beaten off.
but I do believe,
Yeah.
I mean, that was rookie, too. That was rookie Andrew.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, that's a rookie quarterback going into Foxborough against a team that was using deflated balls. And,
Sure.
And the weather was being controlled that night as well. I thought a blizzard was coming, and then all of a sudden it was rain and wind and warm.
But Colts players did say, probably could have got beaten with a beach ball. But again, either way.
Well, what Colts player said that?
This doesn't sound like a concerned citizen of Indianapolis.
Yeah, you wrote your little letter. to
Well,
Jim
I'm not
earlier.
concerned because they responded and they're embarrassed. And they
He did
fucking
write a
should
letter
be
back, by the
embarrassed.
way. Hey, he did write a letter back.
Yeah.
Jim did write a letter back.
This guy said Andrew doesn't love ball.
That's what he said.
No, he loves it in a different fashion. We
retired
talked about
after
this
7
earlier.
years.
We talked about this earlier. Yeah, there's different levels in how people love ball. And I think Herb Street,
Yeah, that's right.
he jumped right into that the other day.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Andrew enjoys football. I think he enjoyed football, the game. I think he
What
enjoyed
a big story that would be if he came back.
I mean, it can get teased every single month.
I'm just saying it because I want him to somehow get wind of it and be like, start doing push-ups or something. I could put on 20 pounds in 30 days.
See, I wonder if Andrew heard us talking about it, that he actually would go the other way. He goes, oh, wait, I'm going to fast for the next 40 days. Wait till they see me the next time. You know? Like that type of...
I would respect that more.
Look like, what's his name?
Me too.
Machinist.
I would respect that a lot more too. And like maybe that's why he did show up looking the way he did. Like, I'm not gonna have anybody. Give me the smallest shirt we got. I don't want anybody to even think that I'm doing it. You know,
Did his body transform a lot when you play with him?
So he would just go from whenever he would get yoked up, it was like, holy shit, this dude is huge. But I think he was like that when I was with him, his entire career. Then there was the injuries that happened where in the offseason he'd be training and going through that entire thing, and then he would come back. It was just, he's just a specimen of a guy. I think he could put on weight pretty quick. Gronk said he could put on like 30 pounds or something in like 2 weeks. You give me like 17 days, I could probably put on about, I don't know, 17, 18 pounds of muscle. Or
I could too. Oh, muscle.
Muscle. I put on 16 over that 4-day break we had.
That's right.
It's easy. It was awesome.
You really put on 16 pounds?
Yeah, it was cool. It was pretty cool. I was up to 260 something. It's good to be there. What's up, dude?
What do you weigh now? You look good.
No. Not great. I'm not there yet. I had a bad couple of days here. I was at the RV Expo yesterday. I had corn dog.
Yeah.
What? Had one corn dog. What? Had a soft pretzel.
What?
Yeah, I did that whole thing. They had a cherry.
Soft pretzel's good.
They had a cherry Coke option there. So.
Gimme.
Living.
I didn't. I passed, actually.
Really?
No.
Wild cherry Pepsi you would have taken, though.
No, see, that stinks. That absolutely stinks. Let's talk about some other stuff going on in the NFL here before Jordan Poyer joins us of the Buffalo Bills. Number one defense in the NFL, 0 Pro Bowlers. First time that has happened since 2012. Cannot wait to chat with him about his feelings on the people that are making a lot of these decisions for awards and how the Bills feel going into the trilogy against the Patriots for this big playoff super same game parlay holiday weekend. Big Ben Roethlisberger cut a promo talking about how terrible the Pittsburgh Steelers are, and I loved every second of it. This is one of the most Ben Roethlisberger moments in the history of Ben Roethlisberger. I don't want to say he was self-handicapping times 10, but he did become an MD of self-handicapping in this particular promo that he cut about the playoffs and what he's saying to the boys in the locker room.
We haven't discussed it, but I think, I would assume as a group you understand that, we probably aren't supposed to be here. We're probably not a very good football team. We're out of 14 teams I think are in, we're probably number 14.
Sounds like dicks.
We're a double-digit underdog in the playoffs. So let's just go play and have fun and see what happens. We're probably 20-point underdogs, and we're going to the number one team that's, I know they're not the number one seed, but they're the number one team that's won the AFC the last 2 years. Arguably the best team in football. We don't have a chance. So let's just go in and play and have fun.
Hey, boys, honestly, nobody expects shit from us.
No.
We're down, what? We're going to lose 30, 40 points?
Right.
It was double digits, and then it was 20, he said, in the same answer. I mean, he was getting, if they would have asked him one more time, that thing's probably 25, 30.
Yeah.
Hey, we're supposed to get our asses beat out there. I love a good self-handicapping Ben Roethlisberger.
Thank you, Seven.
I love
It's
that.
scary. It's a scary team, isn't it? A team that's playing with nothing to lose. It's like they tell you when you're a kid, don't ever fight somebody with nothing to lose. Like they'll take you to the death.
Yeah, because, they don't care is what it seems like. They know they shouldn't be there. It's house money. How you doing? Keep it moving. They're in the playoffs. The Colts aren't.
How do you think the game goes?
How do I think? I don't know. Everybody in here is putting like $5,000 on Steelers money line.
Yeah.
After Ben Roethlisberger does
Worth a shot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's big odds. There's massive odds on that. I haven't thought about that game because I've been trying to put our same game parlay holiday energy together for the Eagles-Bucks game. But that Steelers-Chiefs game is certainly fascinating. 12.5 is a lot of points for a playoff game, but could the Chiefs turn into the Chiefs of old whenever they just become a buzzsaw whenever they want? The answer is yes. Will Jackson Mahomes be on the field? These are things that we would.
Will.
Oh, yeah.
Playoffs? Oh, same game parlay holiday weekend? Oh, my.
Yeah.
That Mahomes is going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to watch and see who shows up and who doesn't. Pittsburgh Steelers always have a great defense, which is why they can be in any game. Speaking of great defenses, number one in scoring defense, number one in total defense, 0 Pro Bowlers because they stink individually. Ladies and gentlemen, the highest rated pass defensive safety in the NFL, minimum of at least 35 attempts, ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Poyer.
Yeah!
Hey,
My favorite guys. Appreciate you guys for having me. That was a hell of an intro, too.
Hey, thank you. You stink, dude. No Pro Bowlers in that defensive meeting room. Number one total defense. I think the lack of respect for what you guys have been able to accomplish on the defensive side of the ball, not only as a team, but specifically on the defense, just continues. And I know you hear all of it. Why do you think it happens? What do you think it is? Just because you're up in Buffalo?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It is what it is. Probably, I don't know. You tell me. Golly. I have zero idea. It's kind of unreal to think about it. But we just keep our head down, keep working, use it as fuel, use it as energy. People think that's corny or whatever, but it is what it is.
Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, sorry, Pat was trying to. You had some kind of sound going on behind you. Pat was trying to, I think, get into some rhythm there.
Are you guys working right now? Are we out at work right now?
We got what?
Oh, no. Jeez, can you hear us? Is it our side?
I can hear you. I can hear you all right.
Is this a full work day today for you guys?
Yeah, it is. It's a full work day for us. I don't know what the hell they got going on. Trucks moving or something like that. That's probably what you heard in the background noise. I'm sorry. Hey, can you be quiet? I'm on the interview right here.
Yeah. Now tell them, hey, they got to do what they got to do. We do not want to be a part of the blame of why you guys either succeed or lose. We don't want any of that. Go ahead, AJ.
Jordan, do you guys care? Like, obviously, third time playing these guys in a short amount of time. Do you care what they do? Like, does it matter to you offensively what they do? Are you worried about them coming showing stuff they may have not shown before? Like, where's your mindset on defense?
Yeah, I think they'll probably have some wrinkles that they haven't shown us. At the end of the day, seeing a team, this will be the third time that we played them. Obviously, in the year, neither one of those games really mean anything when you think about it. They beat us at home. We beat them at home. Both extremely hungry teams. We both know each other extremely well. So we'll probably see some sort of wrinkle. But understand, we got to go out there and execute. We got to go out there and play well. They're coming in hungry. We're coming in hungry. It's a playoff game in Buffalo, New York. I mean, as NFL fans, what else you want? It's gonna be a pretty crazy atmosphere.
Yeah, we can't wait to watch it. The Dildos will be flying, of course, and you need to stay away from those because we don't know about this Omicron or anything like that are flying around on those Dildos. But whenever you think about Super Wildcard Weekend and the fact that it is the playoffs, and if you lose, obviously you're done. The finality of the thing is so quick. You guys are going to be judged. Last year you got a playoff win over the Colts, and then you lost. Your entire season is going to come down to how you do in the playoffs on the overall grand scheme of judgment. Even though none of you made the Pro Bowl, which is a bunch of bullshit, your team is being heralded as this is the Bills team. Like, hey, we're going to go on a run here. Is that something you guys think about, talk about, or is it just, hey, we got to do what we've been doing all season and just keep getting better?
100%. That's kind of cliche. Exactly what it is. We got to all season, understand who we are as a team, and we don't back down for nobody. We understand what type of game this is going to be. All that outside noise is hearsay, and obviously you hear that you can't, especially this time of year, man. There's so much outside noise. You've been in the playoffs. So much outside noise. You got to figure out ways to block it out and be able to go out there and execute. And we had a hell of a week of practice this week, man. We're extremely excited for the opportunity to go out there and play in a game that'll go down in history. It's going to be one of the legendary games. Saturday night, Bills Patriots. I heard you guys talking about it. You guys are excited as hell too. I heard you on the other day talking about it. So, well,
we're thinking about trying to get a plane actually to get it there because of how it's going to be awesome. I mean, Bills Mafia.
I got a couple of sweet tickets if you need. If you need, we'll talk. Say if you need.
Okay, we got to recall you back to reset the connection. That is not good. This is not good. I just got offered tickets.
No.
Yeah, shit.
So now if I don't go,
is there
it's
a
on
window
me.
on that suite? Because the high is 3.
No, we want to be outside. We want onesies, overalls.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we want the full thing.
Feel that
AJ's coming in.
Yep.
What?
Oh, yeah, Bildo, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Is that what I'm throwing? Throwing Bildos?
No, I was talking about the good energy, good vibes.
You were talking.
Good vibes. It's good energy. You know what I mean?
You were talking about him throwing his poop.
What's that, dude?
What, are you shaking it?
Yeah, I don't know. I seen the armadillo one time, and I assume it could become the armadillo. That thing was wall to wall at one particular place I walked into. And I congratulated whoever had accomplished that feat, but I never got an answer on who it was. There's no wall of fame, but I did see it and go, holy shit, there's some people into some interesting shit in this world. That Bills Mafia being spotlighted on Saturday night is going to be spectacular. And Jordan's bad boy, Jordan.
My bad. I'm sorry. The Wi-Fi, I don't know what happened.
No, you're in Buffalo. I mean, we're in Indiana. It's probably our fault, too. I mean, who knows? goes. How it all goes. How has the buzz been? I mean, you've mentioned it a couple times now, and I think we all are looking forward to it slowly as we continue to think about it here. Bills Mafia, we assume there's going to be snow. It's going to be on prime time. Have you guys talked about how electrifying that stadium's going to be in meetings or in the locker room or anything like that?
Yeah, just amongst ourselves, we understand the Bills Mafia has been waiting a long time for this moment right here. Obviously understanding the circumstances is absolutely going to be electric. There's RVs been parked out there all week, ready to go. The Bills Mafia is excited for this, and like I said, it's going to be one of those nights that the legendary NFL nights, man. Bills versus Patriots on Saturday night.
Okay, so let's dive it. We can't wait for it, and thank you for the offer. I might actually have to fly up there. I mean, that'd be electrifying. We'll see what's on. It's very nice of you. Listen, sweet tickets are expensive. Playoffs too in Buffalo? Yeah. I mean, that would be amazing. But let's talk a little bit about, you're in the middle of your work week right now, and we appreciate you taking time here. No Wi-Fi, trucks in the back. We don't care. We're appreciative that you stopped by. From Mac Jones, the first time you really watched him on film, to the second time, to now, have you seen actual growth in the rookie quarterback? And is that something that you guys have to, actually fully invest in because it's a new player, a new opponent, and everything? You don't have a lot of film on him?
Yeah, I think as he's gone throughout the season, his confidence has gotten a lot better. His ability to manage that offense has gotten a lot stronger. And he's a really good football player. He's smart. And he can make all the throws. We're gonna have to play well. They got really extremely good offensive line, really good running backs that come downhill. So, like you said, it's a cold weather game. I think single digits is going to be, so the ball is going to be a little bit hard. It'll be a little bit slick. It could change the game plan, could change the way the game's called. So we're going to have to be prepared for everything, and so they got some really good players.
Hey, does that help defense or offense? Cold as hell. Does that help defense or offense? Because I know a lot of people say, those Florida boys on defense, it gets cold. That ain't the way the whole thing goes. I know that is a statement that is said, I think. Do you think it helps or hurts the defense if it's cold? I mean, Buffalo is much different, but in normal football, you think?
I think it could be a little bit of both ways. The football is extremely hard. As a kicker, I guess, how would you the ball is extremely hard. It's cold. That's the same way, quarterbacks throwing the ball, running backs hanging on to the football. It's kind of the same thing. So definitely think it makes it a little harder on the offense. Obviously as a defense, you come in thinking that you'll be able to, try to force more takeaways because the ball's a little bit more slick, a little bit more cold. So, just coming in with the right mindset this weekend, man. We got to come in with the right mindset, ready to play, ready to execute.
How excited are you guys to watch your offense and Josh Allen play? I feel like, especially if you guys get rolling in the playoffs, this is really going to be fun to watch. How athletic? I think people underestimate how athletic he really is. Obviously, he can sling the ball, but is your offense I would assume their confidence seems to be at an all-time high too.
Yeah, I mean, I get so excited when our offense goes out there. I get a front row seat to watch Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs go to work every single week. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to see the kind of stuff Josh is able to do. I think last week when he was basically falling off of a tackle and he made a sidearm throw to Diggs in the end zone. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Some of the things he's able to do. So yeah, I'm excited to see. And it's been so cool to see Josh's growth since he came into the league and even to now. So I'm excited to see our offense go to work. This is definitely going to be a team effort win. We got to come ready to play.
Hey, he's big son of a bitch, huh?
He's a big motherfucker. He's big as hell. Yeah. And he runs fast as shit too. So, I mean, he's a hard dude to bring down. I'm extremely happy he's on our team because I see some of the stuff he does. And I'm just like, man, how do you stop it? It's not really many answers you have.
Hey, they were running powers with him too a couple games ago.
Yeah.
It's because he's the size of a defensive end too, right? He has that Cam Newton presence at quarterback, right?
Yeah, a lot of quarterback runs with him. I mean, why not? And that's I don't like seeing him take some of the hits, but he's so damn big. He just be bouncing off of him. I'm like, okay, Josh. Good shit.
Yeah, stay together. Yeah, stay in one piece, but let's keep running these people over. Go ahead, Tom.
Jordan, I'm a big weather guy, so all week I've been thinking about that temperature that you mentioned earlier. Have you been sleeping outside at night to get acclimated to it? Or you guys been freezing the balls? Have you been practicing outside? How are we getting prepared for Saturday night?
We practice outside, freezing the balls. I'll go outside for about 10 minutes every night and just kind of hang just to kind of get acclimated. Because at nighttime it's freezing out here. You know, it's so dang cold. So the temperature definitely drops in the high teens, single digits, and so I'm just trying to get acclimated. So going out there on Saturday night, it's not the first time that I breathe that cold, 1 degree air, because you don't really get that a whole lot in a lot of places.
Do you go full sleeves, or are you?
Look, we were talking about that earlier this week because guys, I guess back in the day it used to be a thing to where if you wore sleeves, you were definitely considered
soft.
I guess a bitch or whatever, soft, whatever you want to call it. But God dang, bro. I mean, I'd rather stay warm. You can call me a bitch like you want. I might have them sleeves on this weekend. Look, I'm going to stay warm.
I was one of those as well. I debunked that the entire time, and I was just punter kicker, so nobody really cared. But I had friends that were offensive linemen and stuff. They're like, you putting sleeves on? I'm like, fuck yeah. What are we even? You're from Pittsburgh, man. You're from Pittsburgh. You're supposed to like.
Right.
Fuck that, dude. Yeah. I don't know.
Warm.
Yeah. Can you toughen my skin up? You want me to get mentally tough?
Right.
Yeah. I don't.
No. That ain't happening. It's not happening.
You gonna wear the grease on the sleeves too, like the to cut the wind that they have there?
I never was a big fan of the grease. I tried it one time and I didn't see any difference other than I just looked like a big mother effer out there on the field.
Yo.
No, that grease gives you an extra 3-4 pounds, so you kind of look real swole out there on the field.
Hey, how's the body? You do throw.
It's good.
You hit a lot. Is the body okay? This is 17 game season, so this is the first time.
It's definitely been a grind for sure. It's a grind for sure. The extra game definitely is a grind. But body's been actually holding up extremely well. I feel like I've usually found ways, especially now that I'm year 9, to find ways different ways to take care of your body to stay healthy and be ready by Sunday. But you know how it is. This thing's a grind, man. It really doesn't matter how you feel. You got to go out there and still do your thing on Sunday. So that's just what it is.
Well, Saturday, Jesus, come on.
Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do. Hey, Sunday, Saturday, though, you probably change the entire schedule. I get it, football. But we appreciate you, man. Good luck on Saturday. I will definitely hit you up here in a little bit. Let
me know. I got a great family. They'll be in there hanging out. So, yeah, they would love you. They would love to have you and AJ. Come on out.
Oh, AJ! Hey, hey, we appreciate you. Good luck this weekend. Yeah. I would like to introduce you, on the way out here as Pro Bowler, but
man,
you guys' team stinks, dude. You guys got no Pro Bowlers.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
Hey, first time since 2012. The first time since 2012. How did it happen in 2012? And then how did it happen again is the big question. It's like Aaron came out the other day with that whole Hubbard Kush situation, and then Lombardi came on afterwards, his longtime GM and coach. He's like, this entire system of awards is flawed there, and we just need to recognize that. And when we empower these awards, that we question how it's even making there, we kind of build up this shit. I assume that it doesn't, like at your core, you wish you were getting recognized, but it probably just pisses you off more and motivates you more to continue to play. If your teammates love you, who cares?
Exactly. You said it. You hit it on the nail. I ain't even got to headhunting. Going after that.
Yeah, you guys are all going to be headhunting Saturday night for sure.
Yes, sir.
Rydell.
Yes,
sir. Yeah, earn a little respect. Hey, earn a little respect. You fucking Patriots fans, get the hell out of here.
Oh, he's wearing it. Is that it? Oh, he's okay.
Oh,
I'm telling the team you're headhunting, Jordan.
It didn't pan him out earlier.
Hey, to hell with that guy. I didn't want him to ask a question. I didn't want to put any bad vibes in here, but I mean, he's in here.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Buffalo Bills safety, Jordan Poyer. Thank you. You too, man. See ya. AJ just call him in some shit.
Yeah, someone alert the referees right now. If they're going to be headhunting, they better be looking for it.
They're not mad at the Patriots. They're not getting mad at the Patriots. They just happen to be there.
Yeah. Hey, sorry about it. You were a speed bump at the wrong time.
Nameless.
We're in the middle of a spike drive, pal. Bang. They're going to be flying around.
Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. A lot of those guys on the Bills team, like Josh Allen,
super cool.
Yeah, Josh Allen is the man too. Like he came to
Stephon Diggs,
Micah. Yeah,
Cole really Beasley's putting out diss tracks on COVID.
Yeah,
and they're up there in Buffalo. It's cold as fuck.
Yeah, it's really everyone in Buffalo but Josh Allen's agent. Aside from that, everyone is cool.
I don't know if he's still with that guy.
Okay, cool.
We will assume he moved.
TBD.
He signed a big deal. I assume that doofus isn't
probably
part of that entire
good
thing.
Point.
Anyways, what a fun. Hey, good for the Bill. AJ, you going?
I don't know. Are you going?
Well, that's all you. I mean,
The game's Saturday night.
Yeah, I think I got some.
What do you guys Oh, you did.
2 tickets for you.
Oh, yeah. No, don't you have the...
Let's get to a break. Let's get to a break. Have we gone to a break yet?
No.
When's old Shams coming?
Jesus.
There's 42,000 people right now? Oh, yeah. What are you doing?
It's a Thursday.
Guys, it's a no Thursday Night Football Thursday. Come on. What are you doing here? Jordan Poyer is awesome, though. Handsome guy, speaks his mind. That's probably why everybody stopped there.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jordan.
What were they doing up there? You remember they had somebody on? They had the jugs machine.
Oh, yeah.
In the background.
I heard it. I heard it once and it stopped.
Yeah, Cole Beasley was catching him with one hand right next to the speaker.
While he was doing the
Yeah.
interview. Yeah. Anyways, we appreciate the Bills. I mean, they gave us Bean, McDermott, Jordan Poyer, Diggs, everybody. Josh Allen's come on.
Yep.
They're very, very nice. We appreciate the hell
Smart
out of
people over there, huh?
Feliciana.
I don't know about smart people, but we do appreciate it. We got them zero
Smart
Pro
PR
Bowls.
people, I'm saying, by pushing them, trying to get them out there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, so we get a Pro Bowler on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, what do you say?
They had to fucking, get so mad, but then there had to be a moment of, okay, cool, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool moment to have, I think.
Since it wasn't like, one guy in defense got in, but since it's none of them, then okay.
Jerry Hughes, all the boys.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and
Edmonds.
put on a show.
Ed Oliver.
And I do like how much it feels like the defense loves Josh Allen. Listen to him talk about Josh Allen, the growth he's made, and they're excited to watch him in this playoffs too. Prove a lot of people who have said a lot of things about him wrong, and they're going to be flying around hitting.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be hitting this weekend.
Yeah, well, just like the Steelers, Pats probably lose by 20, 30, 40 points. So, who cares?
Oh my God! I don't need to hear Ben Roethlisberger.
Probably.
Don't be mimicking Ben around.
I'm not mimicking. I'm just sharing the same sentiment.
Did a Corvette show up at your facility today, though? Because it did in Pittsburgh.
What happened?
The only Corvettes that showed up to New England were the goddamn players rolling in for practice.
What happened?
what I'm saying.
What Corvette showed up?
19 was back at practice today.
Corvette. He was doing that on logos.
Yeah. We're back.
Is he playing this weekend?
Adam Schefter, Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster returned to practice today after being placed on injured reserve on October 16th with a shoulder. Steelers have a 21-day window to activate him to the 53-man roster, or he remains on the reserve injured list. They're planning on losing by 20. Why would they wait another 21 days? Let's do that thing this weekend.
What?
Wow.
Hey, Juju, very passionate at his fundraiser. I think 2 days after he got injured. Shared a side of him about how much he loved football and how much he's going to miss this season. This might have been a brand new reset for Juju Smith-Schuster that we have watched mature in the NFL. What if he's missed a piece?
Prediction.
Let's go.
We got a prediction, okay? Jackson's going to be on the sideline.
Yeah.
Claypool's going to sneak up behind them.
With a who?
Juju.
Boom! And that's going to kill the entire just no more TikTok.
This is our house. Nah.
Juju's going to say to Jackson, you ain't got one of these.
Exactly.
On TikTok, dude.
Exactly.
Could you imagine if Jackson, Juju, and Chase Claypool all do it?
That's not
TikTok
gonna happen.
would explode.
No, I said no. They're dunking on Jackson.
No. Yeah, I'm saying that's your. But I'm saying there's a chance this
That's not
TikTok
gonna
community
That's
that's
right.
very
They
collaborative.
They respect his game.
Yeah.
Let's join in.
Stop.
No, they are. I think actually Juju might even have the Mahomes jacket.
Stop.
Over his
With
pads.
the Steelers pants on.
This went a bad direction.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen, dude.
Jackson's going to be wearing Juju's helmet, I heard,
You
too.
son of a
And then
bitch.
Chase Claypool's going to come through with the camera shot.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Claypool.
Ain't happening. Remember this offseason, Chiefs offered Juju a deal. He looked at that team. He said, I see Jackson Mahomes already on that sideline. I ain't sharing spotlight with him. I'm staying with the Steelers.
Going home.
So you don't think he wanted to collab with Jackson?
Not a chance.
That's why he went back to Pittsburgh?
Hell yeah.
I mean, we'll have to talk about it. Let's get to a break, dude. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Well, on the 5 Energy phone line.
Good tease.
Got to talk about it.
Have to.
1-833-4 McAfee. There might be a new person donning the Letterman Mahomes jacket. Juju Smith-Schuster is back at practice for the Steelers. What does that mean? We'll talk about it on the other side. We'll see you then. They say, how do we play in the same game parlay holiday? And they say, show us the way to the same game parlay holiday. It's for the wild card game. It's the same game parlay holiday. That's this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I just saw a picture of you getting out of, I think, a 757 that was from Jim Irsay. What was that, and have you ever been in that plane before?
I thought it was like the team plane to fly all of the Indianapolis Colts. Literally, I mean, it's got the logo on it, Pat, and it was awesome. But look, that's just Jim. Pat, I had a wonderful 14 years there. It's obviously the team that I wanted to play for always. I understood the decision he had to make, and no hard feelings. And for him to send his plane to fly me and my son down here, it was a great gesture. A lot of room for me and Marshall. We were throwing the football. So, pretty cool experience. Pretty cool father-son weekend.
By the way, as he's moving from event to event right now, you are the best, dude. Where are you headed right now?
I'm going to the game. I got Lynch. I got Faneca. I got these guys in the background.
Boys, congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations, boys. All right, Peyton. Oh, hey, there he is. Marshall, I hope you enjoyed that plane, pal. Hey, Peyton, last thing here. You talking to Tom Brady, you becoming friends with him. It was interesting to watch. Oh, yeah, take the photo. Take the photo. All right, we will wrap this up.
Well, I'll tell you, Pat, I don't think anybody can do what Tom has done. Look, I know how hard it was for me to get on the same page with my receivers, learn a new system, learn new coaches. But I had a full off season. I was injured. I was rehabbing. The fact that Tom has done this in a COVID pandemic off season, no time to meet with his receivers. He met with his coaches illegally by breaking into Byron Leftwich's house. So besides that, it's been incredible what he's been able to accomplish, and he deserves all the credit. His leadership is what's put the Bucs in this game today, and I have great respect for him because I know how hard it is, but he deserves all the credit.
Hey, how did you know Red 18 was coming?
Pat, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you telling that story and just growing the legend. That was about the 18th time I tried it. I was 17 going into that. And, you know, when it doesn't hit, you just keep walking and nobody ever really tells you about it. So when it hit, I was as surprised as you were. And the reaction from some of the good old folks there in the casino that night was pretty special.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. You made me and those folks in the casino a bunch of money. Congrats on the Hall of Fame nod. Thank you for spending time. Enjoy yourself at the game, Peyton.
Pat, thanks, pal. I appreciate you.
The Sheriff, Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. On the screen right there, we're laying out what the same game parlay holiday. We're very proud of this.
Oh, yeah.
Because yesterday we reported that if you bet $50, you'll get $25 back. Then if you bet $100 on same game parlays for NFL Wildcard Weekend, you'll get $50 back. You bet $200 or more, you'll get $100 back. It's a tiered system. They added in another tier. $20, you get $10 back.
There we go.
So you bet at least $20 on same game parlays for Wildcard Weekend, you'll get $10 back. If that goes to $50, you'll get $25 back. If you bet $100 or anything in between $100 to $199, you'll get $50 back, $200 plus, you'll get a $100 bonus back whether you win or lose. We have 4 same game parlays that we'll be promoting during the same game parlay holiday. Proud of this. I'm pretty pumped up about this. Getting money back whether we win or lose. That's what it's all about. That's why having a relationship in which FanDuel is their thing, we are our thing, is good because we can finagle the rules a little bit and try to get as much as possible. Let's fucking hit them this weekend. Let's fucking hit them this weekend. Come on. Let's get some
money. When do they come out?
Huh?
When do we learn what they are?
what our same game parlays are, or the ones that people are able to make right alongside all of us. Maybe $10 for ours, $10 for your own. There's 5 of them. That's $50. You get $25 back. We're all going to hit. You're going to hit. Let's go ahead and do this thing. But we're pumped to bet on these games this weekend. We have to put ours together, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah, we've been in the lab. I think we believe that we have ours.
Looks like the props just came out.
Yeah.
So here we go. So today, tonight, into
here we
tomorrow.
go.
We did do our photo shoots for the teams.
Oh, yeah.
Bailey McComas, also known as Bill, is a part of That's Hockey Talk squad.
Why?
Which is also, what's that?
Why?
See, they have a little bit of trouble within their team, but they can figure it out. A lot of distractions, hard to win the same game parlay holiday, but they might be able to get through it. That's Hockey Talk. The pod will be represented by Ty, Boston Connor, and Zito. You
And
guys,
Bailey.
No,
because we already
Bailey's on your team.
He had the lid on yesterday.
Yeah, Bailey's on your team. And then hammered down is Gumpy, Diggs, and Bruce Brown. T's and
And
P's is
Bailey.
battling through
T's and
COVID.
P's.
Bailey's on
Brown.
hockey
No,
team.
Bailey's on.
And then on our team, it is me, AJ, Foxy, and Dirty at Drawn to the Game. $25,000 to any team that does hit from me.
Whoa.
And also, let's try to get all 4, AJ. Huh? Let's get all 4.
Yeah, why not? I can't wait.
All right, let's go to some phone calls. AJ, I like where your brain was thinking, even though there's potential hurricane-like weather down there for the game.
Okay.
Apparently,
Yeah.
there's been an adjustment, maybe.
That has subsided.
Yes.
That's not
I
true.
don't think
70 and sunny.
Will you show Gumpy, please?
These are the same game parlay holiday glasses.
This
I
guy.
put them on when I'm in the lab.
Bro, you look like same game parlay holiday Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You really do out there. You know, a better beard than Santa had with that old gray bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Your beard looks fantastic. Those glasses are majestic. Let's go ahead and win this week.
Hell yeah.
I have a guy down in Tampa, Paul Delgado.
Okay. Paisan.
He works for he's Fox Weather guy down there.
Okay, so Joe Nardo, Pittsburgh legend, rest in peace.
Paul Delgado.
Jim
Cantor.
Paisan. You Italians do love the weather, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And now we got
It's awesome.
Delgado down there in Tampa.
Yeah, he said Sunday's cold front has trended a bit faster on the morning model runs. Still a bit too far out to have a huge confidence in timing, duration of the rain and thunderstorms. But it seems if they may come before the game in the morning now, as opposed to during the game.
Oh, so then they keep the tarp on the field. This is going to be a perfect track for the boys to run down.
It will be
Like
cool
turf.
and breezy, but
And-
the rain may not come.
And a lot of people down in Florida that listen sent a lot of tweets saying, do not listen to a single fucking weather report out of Florida ever. All right? Valid. Very
That
valid.
guy didn't have weatherman in his fucking bio, though, so.
The guy that tweeted that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it firsthand though. Tampa, you'll go outside, it'll be
Those are
beautiful,
the-
and
those are
5
the
minutes
afternoon
later, it's bored.
storms.
Gone.
Yeah.
You don't know what.
But then it's gone afterwards, and
Yeah.
then it's beautiful.
Exactly.
That's Florida, baby.
That's Florida, baby.
It's all right, AJ.
Yeah, that's why do you think I told you 2 days ago when you guys tried to guarantee me that there was going to be a hurricane during
Nobody
the
said
game?
that.
Well, to be clear, I thought the game was in Philadelphia for whatever reason.
You did say gale force winds, Tony.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Whoa. Run the tape.
Whoa.
This is one of those things we were talking about earlier. Like,
I would
see if somebody
never-
said, did I say it?
I would never
like-
say gale
never
force
said
winds unless it was in reference to the Andrea Gale. Rest in peace to those shipmen, those fishermen.
George
I would
Clarence.
never- Thank you. Yes.
Perfect storm.
Marky Mark.
Yes.
That was awesome.
R.I.P.
That was
But
Rest in
Sounds
peace, all of them. I've never seen it, but I'm
John
sure
C.
they,
Riley.
off the coast of Gloucester.
I'll tell you what, dying in
Gloucester.
waters, they've got to be the
I said
worst.
Gloucester.
Oh, yeah.
We're flying into Connecticut last week for SmackDown, and I mean, the pilots had to think I was the dumbest person of all time. We were flying over the ocean to come in and land. We did a big thing, and I was, the fucking ocean? We're pretty deep in here, getting a little wind up to come back to Groton or whatever, which is the submarine capital of the United States of America.
Goddamn right.
Groton, Connecticut. Yeah, a lot of shit on the side. I read that on a sign. It might not be true or not, but
It is.
We're flying over the Atlantic there, and it looked so cold. And there was things, and I was like, oh, this would be the worst. This would be the one. And then we landed with wheels on the ground, which is good on a shorter runway, which is always fantastic. But there's always that moment where you're like, oh yeah, this is the worst way.
Yeah.
Because there's sharks up there too, huh?
Oh yeah, and in the Atlantic, they'll meander their way up there all the way to Cape Cod.
You'll be
Yeah.
dead before the sharks get to you, though. You'll be dead in like 4 minutes in that water.
Yeah, true.
No. I mean, I'm standing on top of the boat. I'm like Rose, and I'm letting anybody else on top too. I got space.
Oh, you're going to find some debris to float on?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a door or whatever.
Then the
Flare.
sharks will come get you. They'll come nip at your door, and then they'll finally take your door down, and then your little body will be dangling in the water.
Hey, they'll nip at the door, and I'll say, "Ain't nobody home." You know what I mean?
I don't know why that shouldn't be fun.
I'll punch them right in the nose.
Yeah, right in the nose. They won't
I'll
fuck
punch
with
them
you
right in
at
the
all.
nose. But this
Should not have been fun.
Rattle 'em.
And by the way, this What, you're saying they're knocking at my door, dude? Don't come and knock if you don't get that fucking nose knocked, dude. That's what I'm saying.
You gonna hit him with the Rolex?
Well, I'm gonna keep this one clean and safe, but this pinky ring here, this is why we Italians have them, okay? Just in case you're stuck in the ocean on a piece of a plane and some great white shark wants to show up. You go, hey, pal, is that fun? Boom! Right to the nose, tell your friends, and then you're all good until they send in Ashton Kutcher and the boys to come pick you up.
Of course.
Guardian.
Thank you, Costner.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senior Chief Randall.
Let's get to a break. We'll be back in 6 minutes, hour 2 on the other side. We got Chuck Pagano joining us. I'm sure it'll be a great show. I'm certain of it. It's going to stink. Hey, Jay, could you imagine if I do punch a great white shark in the fucking nose with this thing?
I can't wait to watch it happen.
Yeah, mess it up.
Well, and I'll record it, too, for content.
Have to. That on YouTube would crush.
Don't miss.
World star.
Hey, God, dude, I'm fucking pumped. Boom. And then I'll give hey, tell my wife, hey, I love you, my family.
Yeah.
So watch this. Boom.
There's been a couple I've done landings where I've done videos telling everybody I love them.
Smart.
Would you hope that it gets to the cloud if you burn in a fiery crash?
Yeah, I assume it would be into a cloud. Yeah, it's already in the cloud as soon as I finish it. Yeah.
Okay.
But there's been a couple where I'm like, I'm a rather mentally soft person when it comes to the flying experience.
Oh, I hate flying.
I am not great at it. Like, the plane you got on, I understand you did, and that's very nice of you, and we appreciate you. It was great seeing you. I see that one look at that thing, and I'm going to walk. I'm going to go get one of those Madden cruisers. I ain't getting on that thing. And there's some landings where I feel like, I should put a seatbelt on just in case my head hits the ceiling. I start thinking like, my head's going to hit the ceiling. Especially in the fall right now, in the winter. Oh. Everywhere we're landing, it's windy. Everywhere we're landing.
Icy.
Oh, yeah.
Omaha, I guess Omaha is about to have full blizzard.
Really?
So that's great. Can't wait to see what goes through my brain whenever we're going down there. I'm just going to be holding on. Oh, my God. All right, we're on the ground. All right.
God bless you.
Let me go call SmackDown. And then it's great news. We're going to take off in this thing, too. Let's get up over the trees like Tom Cruise was able to do in American Made on that short little runway.
Yes.
Instead of clipping that thing. As soon as we get up in the air, I'm like, okay, good. And this is a niche group of people. But when you're flying on small planes, if they have to turn or do anything with the wind to get up there, there's a time where the plane feels as if it is shut off completely. And then they go, oh my God, every flight, it's like, I'm dead. Oh, we're up, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Every once in a while, they'll take you up there and then for whatever reason kind of just drop about 400 to 800 feet very quickly and you feel like you are going nose first.
We learned that brace, though.
What's that?
We learned that brace.
Yeah, we created it. You gotta use your arms because you don't want to hit the top. And you want to use the side, but also you want to have your foot straight out in front of you. Yeah. And if anything was to happen, you'd be safe because you're holding the roof up, you're holding in front of you back, and you're holding the side away from you.
Maybe just a blown ACL.
And then it's like form tackling, eyes up.
Yeah. Always have your head up, for sure. Don't have your seat reclined either, or your tray table down.
I always thought to put on the life vest, too, in case something wants to guide you. And
Well,
stops it.
Well, you can't get the life vest, though, unless you are in an accident. You'll be able to find them as the wires in the master.
Oh, yeah.
Really? And then if you're Ty, you just slam 3 shooters of whiskey real quick.
And hopefully pass out.
Yeah.
Ty's mission every single flight was, I need to fall asleep stat. You were on 4 a week, right? We're
5, I think, including going to New York and then coming back.
Yeah, so 4 or 5. We had the extra game day one where we had to fly there. I mean, those were stressful times. I mean, it still is, by the way. It is still very stressful. We'll play cards, and once you get up there, you just kind of realize, like, literally, there's nothing I can fucking do here. But you look out and you see so many other planes flying alongside you, and you're like, fucking everybody's doing it. It makes no sense how this plane is up in the air right now, flying as fast as it is. But there ain't nothing we can do about it. So I guess we'll just kind of hang out and just kind of chill here for a second. That's every Friday. That is my life, AJ. It's awesome.
That last Pittsburgh one, when my stomach was
that was the worst. That was maybe the worst one ever.
Going into Pittsburgh?
Yes. I think we went to the Steelers Thursday night game.
That one too. That was the brace, but the most recent
Pittsburgh is windy.
Very windy.
And we're landing on top of a hill. Yeah. So, I mean, it is. AJ, this sounds like such a high society life, but we're people that aren't supposed to live this life, so we don't really have much experience in this world, and it is scary up there.
Do you think it'll get any better? Do you think your fear of flying will get any better as you get older, or only get worse?
I think the bigger the plane, because bigger the plane, it eats the chop a little bit better. That's what I've realized. But also, bigger the plane, I mean, do the
Bigger
math. The bill.
Explosion.
When we fly commercial, it's fine. Those private ones, your stomach is.
That's what I thought you were saying.
What do you said 13 games left earlier, and then now you're saying
I
that?
thought that's what you were getting at.
No. But in Indianapolis, if I was to fly to to get to Omaha tomorrow for SmackDown, if I was to go through the International, I'd probably have to have a layover in Atlanta and then in Phoenix.
You'd have to leave on Thursday for sure. You couldn't do it on Friday.
Maybe even Wednesday, depending upon when I would get there for the show, for this whole thing. So it's like a necessity, and it is very nice. It is the greatest thing of all time. We got back to Pittsburgh in like an hour or like 46 minutes or something like that. And Phil, every time he flies out here, he connects through Charlotte or Atlanta or Detroit, and it takes him 6 hours to get here. It's like, it is very nice, and it is a necessity for what I'm very lucky to be doing right now. But also, it's a stress test every single time. It is a stress test.
I believe it. I don't get scared, but I get deathly sick. I feel like I'm going to puke on pretty much any flight I'm on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
You bet.
That happens every time.
So for like 45 minutes after I land, I'm like, all right, just not good. Trying to get a rental car, trying to do whatever. I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah, I completely concur. And I don't think there's anything to fix it. I've tried the Dramamine, I've tried everything, and it's just, now you're going to be scared to death and miserable, but you're going to get there real quick and be able to do your thing.
It was always nice too when we'd get into New York. You'd get really sick on the plane, and then you'd sit in traffic going like this for the next fucking 55 minutes to the hotel.
Once again, we are lucky to do this. We're just pointing out some of the drawbacks. Hour 3 is on the other side.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to that show. Hour 3 of this beautiful Coach Us Up Chuck Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Shout begin right now. Yeah. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. Shout out to the Toxic Table at Ty Schmidt at Boston Connor. Shout out to one half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys at Tone Diggs. We appreciate you being here. And AJ Hawk live from an attic in Ohio. Just a little bit of a news break to keep everybody updated. Maybe that isn't following along as closely to the AB watch as maybe some of us are. Just yesterday, he was in a room sitting next to Floyd Mayweather, who was sitting next to Madonna, who was sitting next to Kanye West, who was sitting next to his new girlfriend, Julia. It appears as if they were having some sort of house party. There is a Drake song playing in the background. Antonio Brown was with will.i.am. He's with Kanye. He's out there with Madonna and Floyd. AB is about to drop a fucking heater. Yeah. And we all just need to be ready for her. He's not from the pit and the palace. He's from the pit, not the palace. Everybody hears just a little bit of that. Wait until you hear what this room creates.
Is that Madonna right there in the white?
Yeah, she's getting it. Floyd, I think Floyd did have some questions on why he was in the room at numerous times throughout the evening. Why am I here? But also having a good time.
How did this come together is the other question.
Well, these are a lot of questions. I mean, immediately watching this video, you have to ask, is this for a music video? Is this just them hanging out saying, hey.
Kanye looks, he's smiling there.
Connie's having a time. They're all wearing gloves. Yep. I mean, there's a lot of, it's awesome. I don't know if I'll ever be invited to one of these.
I wish that had been you. I wish we panned left and you're right next to AB and you're wearing black leather gloves.
So we actually talked about that earlier. Like, this is the type of thing that I would somehow get invited to.
Hey, actually, quick, sorry to cut you off. I know you superimposed yourself into that James Harden clip. You need to put yourself in this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Zito. Thank you, pal. Yeah. That is straight out of the Zito playbook. Zito is very good at that. Smart. We'd appreciate that. But this is something that I would happen to mosey into somehow and just be like, okay, let's start paying. Madonna is sitting next to Floyd Mayweather, who's next to Antonio Brown. And by the way, Kanye West is here with Julia Fox, who used to be something with Pete Davidson, who's now dating Kanye's ex-wife, who's legally single. I mean, this world is hysterical. And he's got to kind of take it all in. Who's shooting this? Yeah,
is that
Danny Boy?
It could
Is
be.
that Danny Boy
hustle
hustle hard? Hey, Cheeks.
Talk to him.
What if it is Lebanon D out there, dude? We have no idea, but I can't wait to hear more of the trip that Antonio Brown is out in L.A. for. I assume he's going to make a fucking smash, and I cannot wait to hear it.
I'm just happy he got out of New York. I thought he would never get out of New York. You've seen Julia's work, Uncut Gems. She's Sandler's girlfriend in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who it is?
Really?
Yeah, that's who that is. Yeah.
So through Uncut Gems, it was hard for me not to just be like, dude, just sell the shit and get out of debt the whole time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it was hard to like feel the bad for him because it's like, hey, just but he had no problem. Okay, he ran into the wrong group of people, and no spoilers, but it does not end well.
No, it doesn't.
It does not end well at the end of that whole thing. But I think
Did you like that?
Huh?
Did you like the movie?
Well, I was actually being judged.
That's all I need to know. That's all I need. The pause is all I need to hear.
I'm a Sandler guy.
I liked it. It didn't blow my socks off. Like a lot of people acted like it was. They were a new person after watching.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Adam Sandler was fucking Leonardo DiCaprio all of a sudden.
Correct.
You know, this wasn't a Happy Madison production. He was a hired gun to play that role, and he absolutely crushed it. So I think as a Sandman fan, I was pumped for him, you know, getting to dive into a little bit deeper roles and characters, and somebody else wanted him in the movie. But also, I think I wish it was a Happy Madison production.
Yeah.
You know, I think it would have been a little bit better. Joining us now is a man who is living his fucking best life. He's just on the slopes 2 days ago with Tina.
Fresh pal.
And by the way, the ski looked amazing. I mean, wide open mountain. He probably had a log cabin at the top of the mountain. Probably his own lit. I mean, it was unbelievable. A guy with so much information, and we can't wait to learn more about the life that has been lived by this legendary coach, ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Pagano. Chuck, what up, dude? Yeah, Chuck.
Right here.
Chuck, right here, dude.
What up, guys?
Hey, how was that ski? How was it up there on the mountains? Looked like you guys were having a blast.
Oh, we had so much fun. I think 30 plus years for Tina and I, since we've been on the, had a set of skis on and been on the hill. So we're a little bit nervous. Stayed on the small chair, stayed on the bunny slopes, but we had a blast.
Is that something you guys are going to get into? It looked like, I thought you guys were just regulars, you know. I got some photos from you. Thank you for sharing. I love that, living vicariously through you and Tina, living your best lives right now. Looked like you were naturals. Was it not the case? You guys were right back in there like, let's go to the Purple Diamond triple threat thing.
Double blacks.
Let's go right up there.
I couldn't talk her into, we were on the greens, you know, and so they have blue. And then, of course, you know, you got the black square and then the black diamonds and the double black diamonds. And we were on the little slope and doing really well. And we both grew up on skis. So it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you know, get your ski legs underneath you, so to speak, you know, it came back pretty quick. But I couldn't talk her into getting on a different chair and going a little bit higher up the mountain. And probably the smartest thing we did. You know?
Especially with your Peloton legs now. You got new legs for that knowledge that you have on the skis. It's just like riding a bike. I thought maybe we'd see you on like a cliff. You know what I mean? Like, I thought maybe that was what the video was coming next. We're happy you're alive. We're happy you're enjoying life. And we're happy you're joining us right now. Let's talk about what's going on in the coaching world. The Chicago Bears are interviewing like 400 people for their head coaching job. Joe Judge just got fired on a Tuesday. Who knows how that's going to go? They're hiring the GM first. Whenever you're a coach that's doing these interviews, and I know yours is different because of what happened with Baltimore to Indianapolis, and you know you've told us that story. But what are you trying to showcase to these owners? What is it? You got to have a game plan going into these interviews. You think like who's most likely to get these gigs? Because we chatted about McVay doing an interview, and then like Jim Caldwell doing an interview immediately afterwards. Do you just have to be yourself, or what do you think these guys' mindsets are going in?
Yeah, I think number one is you got to be yourself, because whatever you've done to this point has caught the attention and the eye of these clubs and owners and GMs if they have GMs. So just be yourself, and then I think you just be prepared to answer any and all questions that could possibly come up. I mean, obviously it's an opportunity for them initially just to get a feel for you as a human being. What your philosophy is, leadership qualities. You can get into schematics, roster mechanics, building a roster, your yearly calendar, so really you got to be prepared, A to Z on any possible question that can come up. It's crazy the things that you get asked and can come up. And like on my interview in Indy, towards the very end of it, legal counsel came in, Dan Emerson, and he says, got asked this question, but have you had any, legal problems ever? Have you ever, whatever? And I said, well, it depends on how far back you're going to check, so you got to be prepared for anything and everything. A lot of posturing going on. You see a lot of the same names, coming up at a lot of the same places. And I think that's just, again, whether there's a GM in place, a president of football ops, an owner's involved, they're all looking to see, okay, who's the hot guys, who's the hot coordinators, who are the retreads, the guys that, had head coaching jobs, have been successful in head coaching jobs, Doug Peterson types that are out there. So I think a lot of those guys are all getting interviewed by each and every one of these organizations that have openings. And I think also that the teams that have, GM jobs open, see like the Giants and the Bears, pretty much status quo is like you get the GM in place first because he's going to be making most of the lion's share of the decisions moving forward. And then he's, I heard Peter talking earlier on the show. He's got probably a list of guys that he has worked with in the past, has a relationship with, because we all know how important that GM head coach relationship is. And, we probably have heard, through the grapevine what happened at Miami. It seems like, Chris and B-Flow started maybe to butt heads down there over whatever, the quarterback, could be a multitude of things, but that relationship is huge. And so I think part of that, Pat, talking to guys and bringing guys in, it's going to be harder for teams that don't have the GM in place. Just as far as, communication, is this guy relatable? Is this guy I want to hang out with? Because on the day-to-day, it is. I mean, literally, you don't go a day without being around your GM.
Okay, so let's expand on that a little bit, because in a place that you know well, which is Jim Irsay's building, obviously Chris came out today and he was talking about how we embarrassed our team, we embarrassed our owner, we embarrassed our city. They talked about, wanting to have a quarterback in place, but it doesn't always work out that way. The future of Carson has not been locked in by Chris nor Frank. Do you think there's a chance that Jim Irsay is like, hey, what the fuck? And do you think there's any way that maybe one side of that could be like, we have 7 Pro Bowlers, our roster, and Chris looks at Frank like, hey, what the hell is going on down there? Because those two have been cemented together very well, it has appeared. Is there anything you think that could drive them apart, just like natural, hey, our livelihoods depend upon each other?
I don't think so. Jim as well as I know Jim. Upset, understatement, right? I mean, that was, none of us saw that coming, but devastating loss, because, you start out the way they start out, and then you make this push and you're rolling and you win 2 huge games. You go to Arizona with absolutely nobody left on the roster and win there. And then, the last 2 weeks of the season and culminating with the loss down in Jacksonville, Jim, I know Jim, he's pounding that fist, on top of that desk going, what the F, how does this happen? And, you hear about the conversations that they had post game, a 2-hour meeting, whatnot. I'm sure it extended, way past that, because you're going to get called in and you're going to, okay, where are we going? How does this happen, number one? And then how do we avoid this, moving forward? And then they start going through everything A to Z after, probably take a few days off, a week maybe, then get back in there and say, okay, what's the plan, moving forward? But I don't, they both just signed, 5-year extensions, I believe at the beginning of this season or last season or whatnot. So both have done a phenomenal job. You got 2 really good football men in there. You got what seems to be a great relationship between a GM and a head coach, which is obviously, again, very, very important to the success of that organization, that football team. But Yeah, and that's the owner's. That's his right. You know, you got to answer. The tough questions, and I'm sure. I know Jim very, very well, and I know there were some tough questions there, and there's going to be tough questions moving forward. In particular, your quarterback situation.
Yeah, speaking of that quarterback situation, they've come out. I'm sure. I guess my question for you would be before they speak to the media, and they both. So Chris Ballard, Frank Reich kind of had the same message about Carson Wentz and what his future may hold there in Indy. And sounds like, they don't really know, but they didn't give him a big stamp of approval like he will be back. Is that something that they have to get together and talk about behind the scenes to make sure they're all like putting the same message out?
And is Jim a part of that messaging, you think?
Yeah, there was conversations, well before. It's hard for Frank because, right after the game, you got to speak to the media, and then you got to speak the next day, and, the Hard Knocks thing. So he's got to be on point, So they probably talked about, okay, if this does happen, here's what we need to say. But head coach and the GM, PR director, Paisan Conti, they're going to get together, Jim, okay, and say, hey, look, this is what we need to say about the quarterback situation and any other situation that may be coming to a head and be one of the things in the offseason. Because you don't want to get in there and have, your head coach say one thing, Carson's our quarterback moving forward. We're extremely pleased with where we're at. And then all of a sudden GM comes on and says, no, that's not the case. We'll see. So those two, definitely, you're on the same page. You want to send the same message out there. It was very clear when you listen to both of them talk, pretty much the same answer. Hey, look, we're not going to get into a lot of things right now about this player or any other player. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got to dive into the film. We got to dissect the entire, season, go through our self-scout, all those kind of things. And we'll be able to get back to you, at a later time on a lot of this stuff. But they certainly left the door open because you don't want to paint yourself in a corner either and say, hey, yeah, he is the dude. Because it may not be the case.
Because if Aaron Rodgers becomes available.
Well, I mean, who's going to roll the dice and say, why, it was mentioned earlier on there, why are you going to leave, Green Bay or if you're Chris Ballard or Frank Wright, say, okay, we're going to move on here and we're going to get, Aaron Rodgers because we're going to hire whoever. We don't have a head coaching job open, but you can't roll the dice like that and say you're not guaranteed Aaron Rodgers. You're not guaranteed Russell, Wilson, any of those, potential free agents. And we all know the quarterback group coming out in this year's draft. I guess the experts, all the pundits are saying is not very, very strong, but time, it's like the college recruiting. We name all these 5-stars, right? Every year, this guy's 5-star, that's guy. Let me see these guys, get on the field and get 2-3 years into their career before we start.
They're having full press conferences on ESPN. These kids. I mean, it is like I know some of them are going to go on to be great or whatever, but I'm seeing some of these kids at press conferences. I'm like, God damn, how do you remain humble? How are you supposed to remain humble at 18 years old? You have your own press conference on ESPN. You're picking up programs and throwing them out. You're being told to do this type of stuff. You haven't made a fucking play yet, let alone anything like that in your. It's a wild thing because fourth rounder could be a stud. Corral, who got hurt, I believe, he could end up being a guy and he could be a complete bust. Who knows? Nobody knows shit about anybody.
No, and with NIL. And all of the media attention that these guys are getting now, I don't know how these college coaches, do it. And, if you're at a program like, Bama and Georgia and those things, they're going to keep getting those guys. And, they tell those guys straight up, those guys want to be there. But, they're going to say, look, you're going to have to come in here and work. We got nothing but 5-stars here. So don't come in here and think this, that, and the other. So you got to be careful on what you tell these kids and what you promise these kids. But, yeah, managing the egos and keeping these kids humble. I mean, it's extremely difficult, but it's an eye opener too. Once you get on campus, nobody gives a shit about that. Okay. It's like, okay, you better run fast. You better block this mofo. You better catch this pass. You better cover this dude that runs, 4.2 and gets in and out of breaks. Otherwise, they'll be talking to you about, medical red shirt and trying to find a way to run you out of there.
So I think that's one of my favorite speeches you gave to the team. It was early when you were there, and you're talking about everybody here has ability, but you're going to be known as the guy who had a cup of coffee in the NFL, or are you a guy that was actually in the NFL? There's levels to this thing. It was one of your first, kind of layout of how you view things and how you're going to be, coaching up and your expectations. It was a very real thing because do you want to be remembered as that press conference in high school, or do you want to be a guy that actually goes on and has success in the history of the game is a real thing. And I don't know how you find the balance. You just got to hope that the competitive stamina kind of kicks in and people keep going. Let's talk about the NFL in which you had success coaching in as well. College coach and NFL coach. Super wild card weekend, same game parlay holiday. Chuck, what's the mindset of a coach going into this weekend, knowing that it's win or go home, knowing that the entire season will be remembered upon this game, knowing that there's only one person that ends up with the fucking Lombardi and everybody else doesn't? How do you think the mindsets are going into these coaches? And does it vastly vary between the Bisaccia's house money of the world and everybody else, you think?
Yeah, some of those guys have the pressure, weight of the world on their shoulders. Like if you're the Rams and you're McVay, and you're Matthew Stafford and them, I guarantee you probably can't get a needle with a tractor and chain out of Matthew Stafford's ass right now. Just because of everything that's out there, and Richie Bisaccia, those guys are playing with house money. They are, the Las Vegas Raiders, and they've got nothing to lose, at this point. And all the walk-off home runs that they've had, this season, 6 of them, game winner. I mean, it's crazy. So, they should go. Bengals should take care of business, but you got them coming to town, on a really short week. They played, on East Coast time. I mean, 12:30, whatever time it was for them, and then to have a short week and then to have to travel tomorrow. Today's like a Friday for them. They're going to have a walkthrough tomorrow and then get on a plane and fly down to Cincinnati, play on a short week. So, yeah, since he's got all those weapons, they got Joe Burrow. Everybody's talking about all these dudes and Jamar Chase and Higgins and company and Joe Mixon. But look out, because Richie, there plenty of gabagool going to be handed out at that team meeting, Yeah. We used to say, let's give these guys a scoff. Give these guys a scoff right here, And so I'd be super nervous there, and really looking forward to, Big Ben coming out and throwing all that out there, about.
We stink.
Hey, 20. We stink. We suck. Nobody's picking us. 20.
Can they win, Chuck? You think they can actually win?
They just beat the crap out of us. All that.
Can
stuff.
they win?
Yeah.
That's what AJ wants to know. Do you think they can win?
This is the playoffs, Pat. So you were just talking about it right before I started talking. It's one and done. So when we made the playoffs, I mean, the energy level, the juice, the enthusiasm, practice, everything picks up. You don't have to necessarily do anything different, schematically. Guys are going to have a wrinkle here and a wrinkle there, for each of these teams. But you are who you are, but the energy level, and it just takes, like you always say, the play doesn't care who makes it. And there's going to be 4 or 5 plays in most of these ball games that are going to determine the outcome of these games. And, a turnover, weather's going to play a huge factor in some of these games. So anything can happen. Yeah,
TJ Watt dancing.
Nobody.
Yeah. TJ Watt gets
Who picked the, down in Clown Town?
We don't need to bring it up. We're talking playoff football. We're talking playoff football.
You know what I mean? So, guys are going to be inspired, and you're going to get everybody's A game. Everybody's A game, because all the vets are telling, all the OGs are telling all the young dudes, okay, there's no going out. There's no video games. There's no nothing this week. Extra film, extra sleep, extra prehab, post, this, that, and the other. And everybody's going to give, everybody else their A game. And it's going to be exciting. And, anything can happen in these ball games.
Ty.
Coach, when you look at Joe Judge in that situation, do you think a guy like that is going to get another opportunity to be a head coach somewhere? And also, if the Giants do end up getting a first-time head coach, do you think guys look at kind of the dysfunction of their franchise and realize, the last however many guys they've hired have been run out of town very, very soon after they were hired. Does that impact you guys at all, you think, going into that? Or is a first-time head coach going to take a job anywhere, no matter what?
Yeah, Ty, I think what you just said, there's only 32 of them in the world. So, yeah, guys are going to go in and because the Giants are going to sell whoever and whoever the new GM is going to be, they're going to sell a guy on, hey, this has got to change. We're going to do this. We're going to give you all the resources. We've got a storied franchise here. We've made some mistakes. Mara's, come out in front of the public and he's been very upfront and forthright about the mistakes that have been made. But no, you're gonna take that job, and Joe will get another chance. He'll have an opportunity to rebound and jump on a team coming up. He may take a year. He's a young guy, so he's probably not going to want to take a year off. He's going to try to do whatever he can to go be a special teams coordinator again. Whether that's back in New England or anywhere else. Go jump right back in it, and then have a chance to hopefully reflect. And sit back and say, okay, this was good and this was not so good, and learn from those mistakes. And if he can look himself in the mirror and say, hey, yeah, I made some mistakes along the way, and I should have, been better at, ABC, and I can do, not do the things that I did, late in the season this year, and all those kind of things. He's going to be able to look back. He's going to have plenty of time to look back on all that stuff. And hopefully, again, he's a young guy. He got a great opportunity, a volatile, really, really hard market. That takes a special dude. They always talk about Rex, and when Rex got the Jets job, I mean, Rex was perfect, for that market, being the Jets head coach and going into New York and be able to handle those guys. And obviously having the success that he had early really helped that. But he had the personality and broad enough shoulders, as he liked to say, to handle anything. But hopefully he'll get another opportunity and learn from his mistakes.
Okay, do you enjoy the fact that Joe Judge threw a fucking banger for the boys? When they got fired, I saw like 6-7 cases of Michelob Ultra coming into the house, some pizza coming into the house, a Bud Light, a vodka, a tequila. They were literally backing them up on dollies into the house for a little go away. Hey, I appreciate all your hard work over here, boys. Do you appreciate this? And is this normal when coaches get fired or have to move on?
No, I think that's pretty cool. I wonder if the guys that had to run stadium steps and up downs and push ups went to the party. I don't know. But that's a I like that. And sometimes things happen where hopefully you have an opportunity to get your crew together, and hopefully he got his guys together. We always tried to get together right before training camp, right as OTAs ended. Pat, we would have a little golf outing and then a party at the house for all the guys and get everybody together, kind of the beginning of the season, end of the OTAs and things. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hey, that golf outing you guys used to have, those stories would make their way through the golf places, through the building. They used to really tear apart courses.
Ooh. Really?
I mean, terrible fucking golfers. Wow. I mean, that's what I've heard. I heard just terrible golfing out there. Is that accurate, Chuck?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There's some guys, Clyde, who that's all he did.
Right.
When you have Peyton and then you have Andrew Luck, you can leave the office at 3:30 and go golfing. In the spring. No, I'm just busting Clyde's, but no, it was good competition. A lot of booze. I was riding with Poyer one year, and we just teed off. We were on hole number 1 out there at what's the one out by
GCI.
Yeah, and so it's a scramble format, and I think he's already. I don't know. We've had a few pops before, and he goes to reach. You're driving really fast. You go down to grab your ball in the fairway without nothing, right? So he goes like this. The wheel goes like this, and he's doing somersaults down number 1.
Hole 1. Yeah. This is OTAs. These are the stories.
Called Aaron came out. Burrell looked him over, put him in the tent. He was fine. Finished the round. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Those things are awesome. I mean, the damn job is so freaking hard. Playing and coaching in the National Football League, And so anytime you have an opportunity to get away from it all and bring the families together and the wife, because it's a time for all the wives to get together, all the boys to get together, and not worry about the stress and all that stuff that comes with that job. It's pretty neat to be able to do that stuff.
Brant Boyer was like a special teamer for 12 years in the NFL when wedge busting was a thing.
Oh,
so I don't think any fairway was going to take him out on hole one. He's a legend. He's doing well, by the way. He's doing very well as his own special teams guy. I'm very happy for old Boyer.
Very, very proud of Branton, because it was year after year after year, because he was living in Salt Lake, and we were together at the Browns, and he talked about it. He was a great special teamer, but he also was very, very brilliant guy. He knew the game inside and out. So we were a 4-3 back then, so he was the backup Mike, the backup Will, backup Sam. So anybody got hurt, he could go in there with 0 reps and go play and execute at a high level for us. And so he always talked about the coaching thing, but he needed a few years, once he retired, to really say, okay, yeah, I'm ready to do it. And fortunately, when we got to Indy, we had stayed in touch and saw each other in the summer times and hung out, because coming in Boise, just being from Salt Lake, we were close. So he decided, to dip his toe in it with us at Indy, and the rest is history. He did a great job, got an opportunity with the Jets, and has done a phenomenal job there, and continues to do that.
AJ, massive head. We're talking, he would throw
I know who you're talking about. I don't know him personally, but I know of him for sure.
And he had some incredible confidence as well. We're talking next level confidence.
Huge swag. He would, in Cleveland, you could hear him and getting ready and getting dressed, for the games. And he'd be putting his pads on, and, how some guys take just hours and hours. AJ, I don't know how long you took to get ready. Pat, unless he was, getting introduced, he could get ready in a heartbeat, and didn't need much warm up and stuff. But Grant would come in that lock and he'd put his pants on and he'd be like, this ass, these ass, woo! Get your tasers out. They're going to be coming over the wall for me. And Bobby Monaco is our equipment guy in Cleveland. So you know how they put the jersey on the pads, right? And the jerseys are like 10 sizes too small, so that nobody can grab and hold you and so tight fitting, right? So you put the jersey over the pads. So getting in those things is extremely difficult, right? You
getting them off, too. Yeah.
You got to have somebody put it
2
on.
and 3 man job.
Off even harder, right? So equipment guy Bobby come over. So Brant would load up his arms all over with balm, with the hot icy stuff. And so Bobby Monaco would come and start putting them on him, and Brant would have his head in between his arms going, no, a little bit more over here, a little bit over here. And by the time Bobby, the equipment guy, was done, he had balm all over the back of his face would be bright red, it'd be burning from the hot ice. It's classic Boyer. A lot of fun.
Boyer was the man. I really enjoyed him as an assistant special teams coach, and talking to him about after his career ended. You got to peek into what a lot of guys experience, right? Because the game has given so many guys so much. And if you're in the NFL and you play in the NFL, you've been good for a long time. And then some point, the game either passes you by or somebody tells you that the game has passed you by, and it all ends very quickly. So there's a little bit of, you feel jaded by the game and you feel jaded about the situation. I think he went out to Salt Lake. He was doing fishing. Like he was guiding fly fishing tours out in the middle of I think Salt. Am I wrong in that? I think even they would go out on horseback and shit. Like he was way out there, and then he went back to a game. A friend talked to him to go to a game, and I don't know if this is 100% the way he would tell it or not, but this is the impression I got from talking to him. He went to a game for the first time in a couple years, and he was in the stands. And when the national anthem played, he got a tear in his eye. He missed football. He missed that moment being back. And I think that is what kind of led him back to the game. And I'd assume he is very grateful that you gave him an opportunity to come coach. And he has done nothing but to make the absolute most of it. I fucking love that dude. I mean, there is a guy that should be on a direct path to a CTE study, being a wedge buster for 10 years back whenever whenever it was not. That's what football was. Just incredibly tough, incredibly cool. I'm happy he's having success. Go ahead, Tone.
Coach, I was watching a NFL Films. I believe it was like a mic'd up, and it was with Coach Ritchie. Why do you think that he is it's just a foregone conclusion that he's not going to get the Raiders job? Because in these, it feels like the Raiders players love him, and isn't that half the battle?
No question about it. And I think just because of that, it might go the other way. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job in some crazy, to say the least, circumstances. After all that they've been through, with John and then with Henry, and keeping that team together, making the playoffs, there's no reason that Mark Davis shouldn't seriously consider, elevating him to full time as the head football coach there in Las Vegas. Again, he's done a great job, and like you said, Tone, the locker room believes in him. They trust him. He's a really good football guy, but he's authentic. He's real. He's honest. He's going to tell the players, the truth. A lot of these guys want to hear, not what the truth is, but they want, you to say things to them, what they want to hear, but you got to tell them what the truth is. I didn't say that very good.
Nah, that's the truth, though. You just told us the truth.
Retired,
He's
not afraid to tell those guys that. And he's not going to belittle them. He's not going to demean them and degrade them and things like that. He's going to coach them and tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. That's what I was looking for right there.
Okay,
so
you nailed it. We'll clip it. We'll clip it.
He definitely. Again, there's speculation on Mayock. Hey, is Mayock going to be around? If Mark Davis feels like because he's in Vegas, he's got to go make one of these splash hires, that could backfire in a heartbeat. And a lot of times that happens because, these guys think, hey, we got to win the press conference. We got to go get, this dude, this name. Jim Harbaugh, who was there, right? Jim Harbaugh would be one of those guys. He's been in the National Football League. He took the 39ers, to the Super Bowl. So he would be one of those guys if that's what Mark Davis wants to do. But you got a chance with a good football team and a good roster, and looks to be a really good staff out there to keep that continuity, to keep that in place. Because you can change that whole thing, and you can set yourself back another 2-3 years.
Yeah, and Chuck, we win the press conference every time you come on, and we're very lucky for it. We can't thank you enough for joining us on this beautiful Thursday. Happy to see you survive the mountains. Can't wait to chat with you next week after this Game Parlay holiday. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Chuck Pagano. Thank you, Coach. See you, dude. Let's get to a break. We got Shams Charania on the other side to talk a little basketball, and also he's a free agent coming up. So let's see if we can get him some money. Okay, see, Carpe Diem.
That's right.
Shams, what Schrager called him. We're back in 4 minutes with Shams. Big shout out to Coach Chuck Pagano, AJ, and everybody watching. You're the best.
And every team that I played for was different. But in Pittsburgh, you pulled up to the gate, waved your hand, they opened the gate, you pull in, you park literally 150 feet from the plane on the tarmac, right? That's what we do. The team's pretty much all on the plane, and they're waiting for Evgeny Malkin and Sergei Gonchar, the two Russians. The guys would come on the plane, and they check off. All right, Mick's here, Gumpy's here, Pat's here. They check everybody off.
Present.
What's that?
Present.
Yeah, present. Thank you.
Murray, present.
Next thing you know, the guy that's working for the team, his phone rings, and he picks up the phone, and he's like, "Hello," and it's the fucking, what's it called, the control tower. They're calling. They say, "Why don't you guys have somebody that they're driving a Porsche on the runway, and they're going like 120 miles an hour down the runway?" And he's like, yeah, and that's Gino's car. So apparently Malkin drove out, and he just thought, there's a lot of road right there. Let's open this bitch up. And he went out on the runway, and he was going like 120 plus. So they're calling, trying to get him. Gino just comes pulling over, and I guess his excuse, I don't know. This is paraphrased by he's like, I don't know. Yeah. And maybe it was apparently Gino and Gonch, which is hilarious because Siri and Gonchar was supposed to be the mentor for Gino. I don't know what happened right there. If Gino's like, let's bring this bitch out on the runway, and Gonchar's like, yeah, let's do it. But they went out there and they were ripping down the Pittsburgh International Airport down the main runway in their Porsche. He's a beauty, Gino.
It's not if everybody's sitting on that plane. We're waiting on that.
Hey, he just did whatever he wanted at all times. Huh?
You can't speak English. You can say whatever.
Why not understand? In Russia, we do that. You know?
It's a get out of jail free card.
To walk into Anyhow at the Moon and go, wish you was back from that ledge, my friend.
Jumper.
We could
cut ties with all the lies that we've been living in.
And
if you do not want to see me again, I would understand.
That's what I'm going to do at How at the Moon. Just slide on the knees with the guitar.
How at the Moon is just pianos usually.
No.
You wouldn't get it.
They say, how do we play in the same game parlay holiday? And they say, show us the way to the same game parlay holiday. It's for the wild card games in the same game parlay holiday. That's this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back to Coach Us Up Chuck Thursday, January 13th, 2022. AJ Hawk is here. The boys are here. And joining us from the world of inside the National Basketball Association.
Hell yeah.
Senior NBA insider for Stadium and
The Athletic.
But not for long. An upcoming free agent in this business world that is booming. Ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania. Hey, we're pumped for you, dude. I am so happy for you. Carpe diem, go do your thing. I hope you understand your worth and your leverage right now.
My man, Pat, I appreciate it. I might have to hire you as my agent, though, so just be ready. I might have to give you that call. So.
I just want to let you know I'm doing interviews with Bloomberg now, you know. I'm doing Bloomberg interviews now. CFO Phil's going to be quoted in Bloomberg.
Wow.
I mean,
look at you. Look at you, Pat.
Well, I don't know how he's going to depict me, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a chance. Anytime somebody else is telling your story, especially from a world that you didn't even know existed. Like, I didn't even know Bloomberg existed. I learned a lot about it. What a place.
Oh, yeah.
They actually have @business on Twitter, so they've been around a long time. Damn. They're not in my silo, though, so I did not learn about it. I did learn about it. This guy could ruin me, could do all that stuff, but it's great to chat business with you because you are about to become a very hot commodity. And I want to let you know that we are very thankful for all the things you do for our show. Every time you come on here, you break news that rattles all of Twitter, and we're very appreciative, and we can't wish you enough luck, pal.
But listen, you know me. I'm locked in right now, tunnel vision. I mean, just the two companies I'm at now, Stadium, The Athletic. I'm happy that I'm with them. They're hungry, and I think we're only going to keep growing. The New York Times acquisition, obviously, to me, it's only up from here. I think it's only going to make the entire brand better. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited, Pat. But this is a busy time of year right now. There's not much time for me to focus on anything beyond just my day-to-day work. So
okay, well, you should give it a thought. You should give it a thought or two. Okay, we're all busy, but you should give it a thought or two at some point. We're all incredibly proud of you, happy for you. We'll watch along. And I'll probably do a little snooping behind the scenes to break your news, too. I mean, we'll try to give that a go. Let's dive into basketball world right now. Saw last night Nets and Bulls, number 1 in the East versus number 2 in the East. Kyrie Irving was back. I believe the Nets got a win, but the Bulls looked incredible. You were there from what I heard. Kyrie Irving being back not only for away games, also home games, I guess, because there's like a fine that they're paying to the city so he can play as well. Is there an exemption now for Kyrie Irving, and is this happening for all athletes in New York as we go into the playoff run here?
Yeah, so, Kyrie Irving can right now only play road games. So that I don't anticipate changing in the next day or two. And there's been a lot of talk about the Nets possibly paying a fine to the city to allow Kyrie Irving to play home games and just take the violation of the law fine. But I'm told that is not really an option because the NBA did send out a memo to all the teams several months ago in September that basically said if the local law says that you can't play, if you're not eligible to play due to local laws, the player or the team can't just not abide by it. So as much as the Nets, I think, would love to possibly try to finagle their way in getting Kyrie Irving back on the floor, I don't see that as far as paying the fine as a viable option. Now, what I could see is two routes to seeing Kyrie Irving get back on the floor. And I think one is either the mandate in New York City being lifted and somehow either whether that aspect of having 2 shots for an entertainer or athlete like Kyrie Irving, for that aspect to be lifted and letting him play. Because, again, he is a New Jersey resident who wants to play basketball. And there are, we saw Antonio Brown show up courtside to Barclays Center a couple times last week. And I don't know about AB's vax status. All I did was read, Ian Rappaport and others put out there that he had, I guess, a fake card and then maybe he got vaccinated later. So I don't know the full story on that one. But, I mean, it's just interesting the rules that are I guess, maybe bended, maybe making it more viable for other entertainers. But for Kyrie Irving, obviously there is a blockage. So either the mandate gets lifted or Kyrie Irving gets vaccinated. I think those are right now the only 2 pathways to him being on the floor in home games this season. But yeah, I was at the game last night, and clearly the Nets, we haven't yet seen this group together, with these 3 guys. This is their 3rd game this season with Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving all playing in a game. And so far they're 2-1 with those 3 guys. I think it'll only get better and the chemistry will only increase, but they've got to be on the floor, and that starts with hopefully eventually for the Nets, Kyrie Irving being able to play home games.
Shams, are you surprised at all at how Kyrie is able to get back into it right away and seem to not miss a beat? And also, yeah, like you mentioned, how cohesive they seem to be too.
Yeah, I mean, I think a part of me is surprised that he's logging so many minutes. I mean, we're seeing him play 25, 30, 35 minutes or whatever it is. Like, he's doing that consistently. And so already 3 games in, I thought they were going to have a minutes limit because, again, he hasn't played organized NBA basketball. So in that way, I'm surprised. But as far as his level of sharpness, I'm not because, he's been doing 2-a-days. He's been working out with people, whatever his training staff is. And he's been staying very active in the gym. So he was doing 2-a-days at one point in his hiatus from the team. And so he looks sharp. You can see his jumper's fluid. As long as he keeps getting his rhythm, it's only going to get better. And I think Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, they still need to find their rhythm and how they play because James Harden's coming from in Houston, he was able to really dictate the offense on a play-by-play basis, whereas now in Brooklyn, he has Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant to share that responsibility with.
James Harden averaging 28 points over the last 8 games, I do believe was a stat that I heard. He's getting hot. If Kyrie Irving, who was running 2-a-days, is all the way back, this is just like the Packers getting back all their players from the playoffs. Yeah. The Nets might be poised to go on a run. And is the mayor or the mandate lifter a fan of the Knicks or a fan of the Nets? I mean, that is going to come into play there.
There was some chatter that him and Joe Tsai, have a relationship and that they're close. But at the end of the day, if you're City Hall, I've talked to City Hall on several occasions since September, since training camp started, because this became a bigger than basketball issue, right? This became a city issue. And the message I've got from them is, at least prior, is that if we're going to lift this mandate, we can't just lift it for one athlete. We can't just lift it because of Kyrie Irving, as much as the borough of Brooklyn would probably give Eric Adams all of their vote if they did this. I don't think they would just lift it for Kyrie Irving. Now, could they lift it for all entertainers, all athletes? I think that is an avenue that they got to pursue.
Can't wait to hear it. Go ahead, Ty.
Shams, any update on Zion? I know he's been kind of off, and then
Not doing two-a-days?
Yeah, not doing two-a-days. Apparently, we see his Duke teammates reuniting for the Knicks. Are we thinking maybe Zion eventually there, or are they also worried that a lot of cheap slices of pizza in New York? So I don't know if that's a good lane.
What's that all about, Shams? What's that all about?
We don't need all that, guys.
No, we do not, Ty. What is that all about?
Hey, listen, I want to see the guy play, okay? I want to see the guy fucking play.
Zion-friendly program, though, so I know it comes from a really,
It does?
really
That's
decent
right.
and family-friendly place in Ty's heart. But
It's not
no, I mean, listen,
ill-intended. It's not ill-intended.
It's not.
It's despicable, and you shouldn't say it.
Well,
but
it's
it's not
also
ill-intended.
true. A lot of good cheap pizza joints in New York.
Oh, it's so good too.
That's true too, though. I mean, you can get it for $1. You can get a slice of pizza for like $1 out there.
Good pizza for $1.
Think of how much pizza
like
Zion could get. With all
really,
the
really
Duke.
big slices of pizza. Like you're full, like that's your full dinner.
How many slices he could hold in his hand? It's so big too.
Well, listen, this is anybody, not just Zion, but we are saying there is distractions in potentially every place. But we saw the move of the Knicks reuniting some Duke players. What is going on with Zion? Is he playing? Is he on the move? Is he trying to get traded at this point? What is the deal down there? And why have we not seen fucking Zion play basketball, Shams?
Because that foot fracture that he has just is not healthy. I mean, that's the bottom line. They felt that foot fracture was going to be much more further along than it is right now. The hope was that he would start the season in the lineup on opening night. And so that was all the way back in October. We're now in January, almost in February, and there's not a return to play timetable. Zion Williamson is away from the team. He's in Portland rehabbing that fractured foot. So as painful it is, you guys know, I don't think that's return is coming anytime soon. But, everyone I speak to around the Pelicans, they still want Zion to play this year. I think the expectation still is around Zion and the Pelicans that hopefully he makes his return. Because at the end of the day, he's got a max extension possibly looming this offseason. The team and Zion will want to see, listen, how do we feel about each other? How do we feel this will work? How does this team look with Zion healthy in the lineup? Because I think last time I checked in the standings, they were really a game, 2 games, 3 games out of a play-in spot. So they're not that far off. They need Zion Williamson. They might be playing for a playoff berth the way Brandon Ingram is playing if Zion Williamson was healthy. So that's the part to me that I think is to be determined. But listen, every day that he misses, it's got to make it a little less unlikely that
So is it a bone thing, a ligament thing in his foot? Don't they just tape it up and the bone heals itself, right?
It's a bone, and he's had different processes that they thought would speed up. He had an injection at one point that they thought within 4 to 6 weeks would allow him to ramp back up and be able to move pain-free. That injection obviously did not work because then they ended up shutting him down, indefinitely.
I just want to see Zion.
I just want to see him
I
play.
just want to see Zion play, dude. And I think it all started, when that fucking shoe blew out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that when this whole thing started?
You can make that argument.
And when
What?
Yeah.
What?
first picked up a nice spoonful of gumbo.
All right. Yeah. Do you have a basketball question?
I do have a basketball question.
Please, all right.
Shams, first of all, Peter Schrager called you Shams, and he told you to stay in your lane. Just wanted you to know that. But also,
Who would we be if we didn't tell you that?
exactly,
Right.
we have to. Hey, fair.
I'll take it.
Start
I'll
with
take
fair.
it.
It was coming from a good spot, but he said whenever you dabbled in the NFL draft pick breaking news, he said, we all know, Shams. Okay, we're not allowed to, Shams, sorry. He said, we all know we're not allowed to do it, although he respects your work. And then he called you Shams. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the insider waters are like, especially.
Watch out for that guy.
Yeah,
Watch
just keep an eye.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Schrager.
I got no ill feelings toward anyone.
Well,
You do, though.
think
You
about
have
it.
to hate people, I'd assume. And wait till you get into the offseason here for this free agency. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about all the love, Shams. I love that. Go ahead, Connor.
yeah, water's bloody. But Shams, are the Warriors going to win now that Klay Thompson is back? That return was sweet, and it sure feels like that's Team Destiny.
I'm going to see them tomorrow, so I'll give you my full opinion hopefully next week or the next time I'm on. But I think that as long as Klay Thompson is healthy, it's obvious that this team is poised to possibly make a run in the finals. I mean, I look in the Western Conference, I see really a few teams. The Lakers just don't look like that championship favorite or even championship contender as it stands right now. We'll see once Anthony Davis gets back, but I thought they were going to be more in the picture. They're not. So really you're looking at Golden State, you're looking at Utah, you're looking at Phoenix, maybe the Clippers, maybe not. But those 3 teams right now look to me, Denver could also be a player of Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. somehow find their way to coming back this year. I do think there's a hope that Jamal Murray can play at some point this year, maybe the final 15, 20 games this year. So if Jamal Murray's back in the lineup, that changes things for Denver as well. So I think there's a handful of possible championship favorites, and Golden State clearly is head and shoulders above all. And guys, they're still hoping to get James Wiseman back closer to February, the All-Star break, and maybe after that. So if James Wiseman is back, that's just another weapon, over 7-footer, athletic, young guy. So this team is only improving, I think, as the year goes on.
Hey, Shams, quick follow-up here. I saw Ja Morant utilize a trampoline the other day on the court. Is that just in Memphis, or is he the most explosive athlete to ever exist? And how is that Memphis team? Do they stink? Because we could get Ja, Zion, and everybody in New York, and we get them on TV a little bit more. We see Ja jump over backboards. We see Zion take off from foul lines at 300 pounds. We see these boys really put on a show in New York. Is Memphis a squad or what?
They're real. I mean, they're competing for home court advantage. Like everyone's eyes are Memphis around the league when Memphis comes to town, and that's a lot because it's Ja Morant, like you said. I mean, listen, to me, it's obvious that they are, it's clear that. Sorry, just got this text.
Whoa! Zion back. Zion's back.
Nothing urgent.
Yeah, you're saying Zion back.
Right now,
Zion back.
Even make a trade. They have, there are a couple assets. Kyle Anderson. They have a first-round pick. There are a few players out there in the trade market. Jeremy Grant. Like, we'll see if they end up being active because they do have the assets to do so. I think their GM Zach Kleiman's done a good job just bringing in the first-round picks and young talent to that team. If they want to make a big move, they can. But right now, they're going from within. And Ja Morant looks like the most. I mean, he's got to be the most. Versatile as far as athlete guys since maybe Derrick Rose. I mean, the way he leaps on the floor, that reminds me a lot of the way Derrick Rose used to leap in Chicago.
Yeah, it was awesome to see, and that Chicago team seems to be all the way back.
Oh, yeah.
Good squad. Hey, DeMar DeRozan out there playing a little basketball.
The
and
more
Zach,
he plays, the more he looks better.
Hey, and Zach's flying around. I didn't know that dude's still doing that. I saw him take an alley-oop finger roll from like the middle of the paint, and then the next time down came in. I was like, is that Caruso? I thought it was Caruso, our guy who smokes gas, dude. Caruso smokes gas.
Stinky.
Remember that through that airport. My respect for Caruso grew immensely that day. But that Bulls team might be real. Yeah. The Bulls team feels real.
No, the Bulls are real. Now the question is, are they going to be, the first year when a team gets put together and they're making a playoff run, the last time, Oklahoma City maybe Golden State, where you saw that an immediate playoff success, maybe getting to the finals, conference finals. I think this team can get to the conference finals, but can they beat the Nets? We saw what the Nets did last night. They're just a lot more experienced. They've all been to NBA Finals games. They've won NBA Finals. Kyrie Irving in Cleveland, Kevin Durant in Golden State. They've been there, done that. So can the Bulls get away from the norm, which is that young teams need time to develop? They're clearly a threat to get to the conference finals. My question is, when you play a team like the Nets, can you really get past that three? I think it's going to come down to, can you really get by Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden in a 7-game series? I don't know if there's a team in the East that can do that.
I'm excited to watch. Hey, that's the NBA. That's the association.
That's right.
We're excited about. Go ahead, son.
Shams, in my house down here in America, I like watching basketball with fans in the stands. When are we going to get the Raptors down to Buffalo or somewhere so I could watch a Raptors game with fans in stands?
With a great environment. With a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm somewhat surprised that, again, every market's different. So every local ordinance is going to be different, and Toronto is buckling down till the end of this month. So as of right now, no fans in Toronto. But
are they better humans than everybody else up there? Are they smarter than everybody?
We've seen some stuff from Trudeau. We know they're not better humans.
I don't want to dive into that whole thing. But how come there's an invisible line? We're connected.
Yeah.
What happens? I guess you would know. You call City Hall and shit. I don't get it.
It's all local ordinance, Pat. Like it's even in the NBA, like in Boston and Massachusetts, like that local athletes have an exemption.
That's right.
There are vaccine mandates there, but
we're going to play
sports.
We care.
An exemption. City, there's just not the same case. San Francisco, not the same case. So these are all based on local ordinance and local markets.
They care about people more than everybody else. We know that. What were you going to add on to there, Nick?
Shams, what's Devin Booker's problem?
He doesn't like the Raptors.
Listen, Devin Booker. I think he realized in the moment that maybe he should have maybe let that go. I don't know, but he felt a certain way. Respect that, but I think he really leaned into it the next day, where you saw him change the profile picture. So, I love Devin Booker's game. I think the way that he plays, that he wants to compete, he wants to win. So, listen, I have no problem with what he did, and I think he leaned into it the next day, putting the Raptor mascot as his profile picture.
Yeah, and I'm okay with wanting to smack the mascot right in the mouth, too. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, hey, sometimes, maybe that's just how we got to handle said things. AJ, you got any final basketball questions here for Shams?
I want to know, Shams, who's the best coach in the NBA right now?
Oh, shit. AJ?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I'll go with, I think Billy Donovan, you've got to give him his love this year. I don't think people thought that this group would just mesh as quickly as they did. Monty Williams in Phoenix, the way he's able to – there's always going to be things that go on around the league, but he's able to keep his team focused, prepared at all times. Quinn Snyder in Utah has always done an excellent job. Tom Thibodeau, obviously, in New York. So that's probably off the top of my head right now.
So you're saying Frank stinks?
Frank who? Frank Vogel?
Oh, Frank who?
Who are you talking about? I don't know.
Talking about former Pacer great coach Frank Vogel. Okay, guy who
I actually like Frank, and the way that he, like, Pat, I don't even remember when he was coaching the Pacers and they were playing the Bulls. I remember being, fan here in Chicago back then, and the way, like, how confident he was and the confidence he projected. Like, I remember looking and watching him on TV. I'm like, yo, this guy just does not give a, like, he is saying whatever.
Hey,
like,
don't ruin your free agency.
Careful.
Don't ruin your free agency.
Potty mouth.
Don't let fuck slip out.
Coach Frank Vogel, I got nothing negative to say on Frank.
I'm happy he won a championship down there in the bubble. People can say whatever they want, but it still counts as a ring in LeBron's history, so it's going to count as a ring in Frank's history. Frank was awesome, though. I saw him at a couple local charity golf tournaments. He was just like cool guy, like super cool guy. When he went out to L.A., I was super pumped for him, but you got to win in the city of stars. That's what you got to do. He knows it. There was a couple tweets that Zito wanted to chit-chat about. Foxy actually wanted to ask about this. Lunchtime. Two's time to have lunch. Went 3-1 in the corridor and 2. Time to have lunch. 2 more periods till lunch. Just had lunch.
This is awesome.
Hashtag lunchtime. 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 Hashtag lunchtime. Went 3-1 in the corridor 2. It's time to have some lunch. Lunch in 10 minutes. Loving my iPhone 4.
Wow.
Life's good. Just had lunch. Man. 2 more periods until lunch. Lunch was awesome, huh? You fucking loved it.
I loved lunch. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. It's just back then that was my breaking news for everyone, is I'm about to have lunch, guys. So, take that for what it was.
So that's high school?
I love lunch.
Was that high school?
How old were you?
2010, I was in middle. High school. Yeah, sophomore, junior year of high school.
It could be a lot worse, Shams. I'd be okay with that if I was you.
I was giving people an update about my lunch statuses. Like, what was I thinking? But I'll take it.
There were some other tweets coming from high schoolers. You're saying, AJ, I think is what you're talking about.
I'm saying most, high schoolers in my generation should not have had Twitter, and it's a good thing they didn't.
Ohio, dude. This is Ohio, obviously.
Anyone's 15-year-old brain doesn't really have a whole lot of great things to
Shams,
say. Should be there when you're 30.
Did you have periods of lunch? Was it numerous lunches or one lunch?
No, it was usually periods. Yeah.
Did you guys have like days, like genre days? We had
block scheduling.
We had
Mexican pizza day.
We had Mexican pizza day, which was nachos, cheese, Mexican pizzas. That was Wednesday, and I'll tell you what, people were putting out tweets if they were able to about Mexican pizza day on Wednesdays. Is that what you guys had?
Yeah, Mexican. You got burgers on some days. You get pasta on other days.
Footlong.
So it was a mix. It was a mix at all times. But I'm glad that I was able to tell the world about my love for lunch. So.
Well, we're appreciative that you're still doing the breaking news game. At one time, it was just your lunch. Now it's everything happening around the association and the world. Shams, we appreciate you so much. Can't wait to chat with you next week, which I think is what you told us you're available for, which I'm pumped about. Senior NBA insider for The Athletic and Stadium. But we don't know what the future holds. And he's so hard working, we'll figure it out as it comes. Ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania. Thank you, Shams. I didn't know about the lunchtime thing. When did you guys piece that together?
Yeah, NBA Twitter revealed that like this week. So that's a new thing.
Shout out to NBA Twitter, dude. Thank you.
Shout out. When Nick said Devin Booker, I thought he was talking about Ava Marie when he DM'd him the hashtag, the toilet liquor.
No. Strictly with the mascot. Didn't care for that much. I mean, hey, mascot's got to do his job too.
Yeah, he does. And by the way, that's what you're supposed to do as a mascot.
That's right.
And I also enjoy the fact that he was like, fuck this mascot.
Yeah.
I like that.
Get him out.
I enjoy that. It's part of the game. Just like refs matter, everybody there matters. And I appreciate it.
Of course.
I can't believe they don't have any fans still up there. What are they doing?
Yeah.
They're still
Oh, they're smarter. They're smarter. They're smarter.
Are they showing the games on TV?
Yeah. I'm seeing
Like
clips.
where, though? Where can you see it?
What do you mean? Like in Canada or in
TSN?
Like in America, where do you watch that game?
Rogers Sportsnet in Canada. In America, you just watch it in clips on Twitter.
NBA TV, dude.
That's what NBA. People do.
right.
The full games are available.
I would assume so. You could probably catch a Raptors game maybe once every 2 weeks on there.
It's like Sunday Ticket.
Okay.
If it's on.
So if I pay for it, I get a Raptors game once every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's no fans there anyways. The atmosphere is terrible.
And if you're lucky, they'll play a good team. And if not, you're watching Raptors Sacramento Kings at 10 p.m. on a Thursday.
And the mascot is getting involved.
Yeah.
And the mascot's the only one there eating all the popcorn and everything.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what you could see once every 2 weeks on NBA TV. Honestly, last night when I turned on the Nets Bulls game, that was a pretty cool little 4-minute run I had.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Yep.
James Harden's averaging 28 points. He's turning it on. Kyrie Irving is balling. Zach LaVine flying around. I mean, it was really nice. I felt like I needed to learn everything, but I realized, I just did what I do on Twitter, but here on actual TV.
Yeah. When the good teams play each other, it's very entertaining, but there's only 4 or 5 good teams, so it only happens,
When the
once
Celtics
a month.
fall out of that group.
This year, actually. They are not good.
Oh, they stink.
They're 500, so yeah.
Oh,
They
you have
beat
been
the-
awfully quiet about the Celtics.
Well, that's because the
haven't you?
Patriots, last year I was pretty early on the Celtics because of the Pats, but we're still only focused on Patriots right now. And let's be honest, the Celtics just beat the shit out of the Pacers last night. Wasn't even close.
Pacers are taking a little lap around the amateurs real quick. Don't you worry about it. Ain't nobody done the games.
Little lap of a decade, maybe.
Whoa, no. We just hired the Jim Carrey looking motherfucker. He's going to turn this whole thing around.
Probably gonna,
Rick Carlisle?
probably gonna fire him this year.
Rick Carlisle's back?
Yeah, he's coaching for the fucking team.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yes, man.
Legend.
Wish you would
Step back from that ledge, yes, man.
I've been working on my form, AJ, and I heard you ask that coaching question. As you asked it, I was like, this is because AJ's a basketball coach now.
Yeah.
He was putting in his own defense yesterday for the girls, I've been working on my form, though, and I feel like the jumper's getting there. It's really getting to a good spot.
You have a good jumper. I've seen it, believe me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. If you ever want me to come coach the team, let me know.
Okay.
Put the hand in the cookie jar.
Boom.
Right.
There you go. You're not thumbing the ball anymore. That's good.
Well, and also I just learned that you are supposed to just shoot that son of a bitch one-handed. I didn't take any, formal classes on shooting, so I missed a lot of the fundamental conversations. This one is just supposed to hold that son of a bitch up there.
Oh, yeah.
This has nothing to do with it. You're supposed to shoot one-handed. I didn't know that. But by the way, finding the bottom of the net a lot more now, which I didn't think was possible.
Bingo.
Which I didn't think was
You
possible.
didn't think that was possible?
No, I was like, man, I'm making a lot of shots right now. And then I learned how to shoot, and it was like, oh, shit, I'm making some more shots. It was really cool.
We should do a sweet 3-point contest with the racks and everything.
So when the FanDuel Igloo opens, which, the place almost got blown up yesterday.
True.
We're going through demolition now. And I thought a large part of demo was like, hey, take out the shit that isn't need to be there. Right. Leave the stuff that needs to be there. I guess just blew right through a gas line in the middle of there.
Okay.
Boom. And then there was some running out, I guess, sprinting out, like, hey, gas is leaking.
Run!
And Tim McAfee was like, what? My dad's up there. He's like, what? They're like, oh, we hit a gas line or whatever. I'm like, how? Tim asks. And then Tim goes, I think, and puts his hand over it and then has somebody do it. And then he goes and turns it off. It was like, I do wonder if old Tim's not there. Is that place just until the gas company?
Blown to smithereens?
Yeah. Obliterated. Wiped off Indiana's map.
Especially whenever you walk in there smoking butts, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to cover those
Tim.
up.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey, 2024, though.
But also, thank you to the demo team that has flipped that place around. Let's stay away from the gas lines.
Yeah.
Let's try to do that. Let's keep that place around.
At least I know where it's at now.
Well, I think you're going to have to
Yeah.
have to redo the whole thing.
Just added 8 months onto the construction.
No. We should be in there by the time summer comes around.
Okay. Did we say what? By the time next season starts, there's a good chance, there's a 50% chance we'll be there.
No, not 50.
There is a 98% chance.
Very high.
Very high.
That's high.
98%
awesome.
chance we're in there. We just picked chairs. We went through
Just
all the
pick the
chairs.
chairs.
Just picked the furniture. We've been through all the furniture. I had a final walkthrough thing sent to me.
Yeah, the plans laid out look unbelievable. They sent in that packet.
Yeah, and, well,
or that we saw. That was probably before the final.
No, yeah, but a part of the whole thing. We've gotten the final ones that have all of the things in it. Now it's just up to supply chain. Yeah. This should be good.
Execution.
Like you supply chain.
Can't be getting boats stuck in any canals. That can't happen.
Not while we're trying to build the FanDuel.
No way.
Wait, did they change page 4, the entrance?
So the entrance has been changed.
Okay.
Which is good.
Color scheme.
Oh, I saw that.
What are you saying?
You were very happy with the first one, right?
Well, that was the first thing I was shown by a company I knew nothing about, and I didn't really hire. I guess the other people hired. So that was the first thing they showed me, and it was like, okay, well, I don't want to work with these people.
You're all fired.
And then they went into the next page, and it was like, fire,
Yeah.
awesome. It was like, what happened on that first one? Like, hey, let's set the table here with something terrible. They went back to the drawing board. It's incredible. I'm very pumped for it.
Let's go.
There's no way it's going to work out the way it looks in the thing I just saw.
You never know.
Maybe. What are you shaking your head about?
You'll see.
Oh, wow.
Supply chain? Is there a boat?
Oh no.
Bro. No. What?
The Texans have fired Coach Dave.
All right. Oh no.
Who cares?
What day is it? It's just a moment. Come
on.
Dare you? Beat his ass.
Let's
Weird
get
timing.
Hold on. Yeah, this is Thursday, dude. All right. If Easterby and the boys were gonna have this conversation, Casario, the Arrow, Tom Pelissero is reporting that the Texans have fired Coach Dave here, January 13, 3:09 p.m. There's Black Monday where people get fired. Joe Judge was fired after Aaron Rodgers did his thing on a Tuesday. Now Casario, Easterby, and the McNair family have prayed on it. They talked to Jesus Christ himself directly. And Coach Dave, the man who was dropped into a fire pit, not a palace, a fire pit, literally everything burning around him, somehow being able to win some games, finding success in places that we never thought was imaginable, chewed on his tongue a bit, but how could you not if you were put into that Texan situation as head coach? Just one season, the man waited a long time to become a head coach, dream came true, and it has ended in a terrible fashion, somehow worse than how it began. Remember, when he was hired, they said he is just holding a spot until Josh McCown wants to be a head coach. Exactly. That had to be a little bit difficult. 15% of your salary cap is not playing here because he hates the ownership. We are going to have to make a lot of other decisions because there was allegedly a revolt last year. Coach Dave's time as the Texan head coach has come and gone. We will now have a moment of silence for Coach Dave. Moment has passed. We don't want to do it too long because it sounds like Jesus Christ made this decision alongside Easterby.
The boys, this was not a team where the boys didn't fight hard for Coach Dave. And if you remember at the beginning of the season, this was a team we thought might not win one game. Seems like a situation where it didn't matter how many games Coach Dave won. He was getting fired after the season.
So Zito just dropped in my ear and said the internet is immediately saying what was being mentioned the other day. B-Flow comes in there because Deshaun likes him. But what does that mean about McNair, Easterby, and everybody else? I mean, we'll watch how this all unfolds, but do know that they have Jesus' right ear.
They do.
Through Jack Easterby.
You think Bill O'Brien gets an interview?
I mean, he was pretty good with that Alabama offensive.
Yeah.
JJ's gone now.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Well, I hope the fucking Steelers trade for Dougie Mills then if Deshaun's coming back.
You want Davey Dougie Mills?
Yeah.
What about Russell Wilson?
Nope. Doug Mills.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
Nope. Doug Mills.
I'll take Coach Dave, too, while we're at
give
it.
The future.
Just real quick. Dolphins getting Coach Dave. Okay. You want Dougie Mills over Aaron Rodgers right now in a hypothetical situation?
Wow. Next 20 years over the next 2 years? Yeah.
Pat, this Jagoff doesn't speak for all of us. Give me Rodgers in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
How about us landing him in Indianapolis? He's in Pittsburgh. He's in many other spots that are being talked about. And they're probably going to go and run and win a Super Bowl.
I was going to say, can we just fucking hold off for a little bit here? I mean, for Christ's sake, listen, Carson's going to be here for the next 10 years. It's something you're just going to have to accept.
And what about in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, hey, I'm not so sure Ben doesn't go out and throw for fucking 166 on Sunday whenever they play.
75 attempts.
Yeah. Just like the old days. And they win 13-6.
Can't rule it out.
Barn burner.
On 75 attempts.
All right. Let's get out of here, dude. We appreciate everybody, including Ben Roethlisberger.
Love you, Ben. Love you, Seven.
Good luck, the inventor of that.
Hey, good. Oh, Aaron, I don't know how Aaron feels about it, but also, Coach Dave, dude, way to go. Way to stand in the fire. Way to stand in the foxhole. Way to stand in the pocket when everybody is crowding in on your life trying to ruin you. And he did it. That's admirable, dude.
Shout out.
Just bit his tongue through a bunch of pain. Zeke loved it.
Man, that is tough.
That is. But, I mean, if B-Flow got fired.
I mean, it's sitting in the foxhole and then having the mortar shell hit you
Well, is
directly
Josh
in the
McCown there?
foxhole.
Let's go to a couple phone calls real quick. Let's go to Andrew in Los Angeles. Andrew, what's going on, bub?
What's up, Pat? What's up, AJ?
Keep moving.
Think about this upset. The Steelers beat the Chiefs, right? Just as the Seahawks beat the Saints when the Saints were favored about a good margin. No, wasn't that that upset?
Ooh, Beast
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that was Seahawks at home, though, right?
Oh, yeah, Seahawks at home. Yeah, that's when Beast Mode was created.
Yeah. That's when he ran through everybody, and that was Hasselbeck was the quarterback. I believe they ended up going to the Super Bowl that year, right? I think.
I don't think they were to the Super Bowl.
Did they? Oh, that was the pick, or was that the loss to the Steelers?
They lost to the Steelers that year.
In the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, they ended up.
Marshawn and Hasselbeck?
05. Or no, what year was that?
No, Sean Alexander was the running back.
Yeah,
against the Steelers.
That was like
So he
5 or
lost.
6 years later.
So he lost in the divisional round. That wasn't when Hasselbeck threw the pick six.
That was against the Packers.
Hasselbeck has
In the
some
divisional
legendary playoff stories.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you NFL Sunday Countdown's going to be great.
He's still crying about those refs, too.
Yeah.
Which refs?
Won the ball, we're going to score.
Well, that's not what he's crying about. That's not what they were saying. You just made fun of him out of nowhere. There's no reason.
He's a mascot. He gets it. He's tough.
This guy buried Coach Dave for no reason.
Yeah. Who
Good
cares?
coach. Look, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you mentioned it. Josh McCown, when he came in, they were like, yeah, he's not going to coach here for that long. And B-Flow got fired, and B-Flow's been very successful. Nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah, but the Coach Dave situation is literally a pit whenever he got there.
Yeah. Exactly. He walked into, hey, by the way, you're just going to be here until Josh McCown's ready. And he's ready, so.
He did do that.
Simpsons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that was referenced in the I Am Athlete with Shady and Shady McCoy.
DJ Williams.
DJ Williams. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Hey, Shady's a great storyteller. As his old buddy who played for the Broncos said, we was cheating.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I'm excited for more and more of these stories to come out and roll out. And I talked to Bloomberg about this, these guys that would never have been selected for television for whatever reason because they're too entertaining or different or whatever. The fact that the internet is allowing an opportunity and a space for these stories to be heard that we would have never heard before. Like, for instance, Josh McDaniels was just filming the other team and he knew exactly what was going to happen because he had the signals and then he gets fired after it. Nobody ever talks about that. But old buddy on the team said, we was cheating. We stunk afterwards. Won 8-8. We started out 6-0. That's the type of shit I love, and that's why I'm thankful for the goddamn internet. Honestly, legit.
Yeah, I had no idea McDaniels was doing that shit over there.
I completely forgot about that.
No, I knew they were doing it in New England. I didn't know they were doing it in Denver.
What were they doing in New England?
Spygate. What are we talking about?
Tell us more. What were they doing?
Oh, the Gates.
What were they doing? Tell us.
Spygate, remember?
Yeah, but what was it?
The year before they went undefeated, they were like, oh, this team isn't that good. They were just cheating. Then they went 18-0 and lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but what was Spygate, though?
They were filming the sideline.
For what?
Probably just to see what the calls were.
Say they're cheating.
And then what?
And then a lot of the other coaches were like, shit, we wish we thought of it first, but we didn't.
Is that allowed, Connor?
But why were they doing that?
No, they were fined $1 million.
Why'd they do it, though?
Competitive advantage. It's called win the game. It's called get one of these at all costs.
Well, you got one of these?
Exactly. Trying to.
Makes you wonder how Bill had all those pregame meetings during the week where he just knew exactly what was going to happen, laid it out for the team.
No. I ain't diving into all the gates. I have nothing but respect for Belichick, but it did sound as if the Patriots fan was going to say, yeah, we were cheating, just like Josh McDaniels was, just like we heard right there. Anyways, the NFL is a game. It's a competitive game. People will do whatever to win. You got the most competitive people on earth. I don't think anybody in the NFL ever thought to themselves, oh, Bill Belichick's doing something that we wouldn't do if we knew it existed or had the ability to do it, which is why I think the judgment within the NFL is much different than the media and outside. Nonetheless, the GOAT's the GOAT. McDaniels tried to do some GOAT shit, got caught up in it, they ended up losing. He gets fired. He turns the plane around for Indianapolis. Says, hey, Jim, are you going to let me film people or not? Jim Irsay's like, I'll tell you what, brother, we can't be doing that. That's what Jim Irsay said. Yeah. That's why the plane turned around.
That's why they only won one Super Bowl, Peyton Manning.
And that's why we're losing to Clonton.
Yep.
Good will win in.
2 Super Bowls, Jim. You said it yourself. 2. Peyton better be walking through that door, goddammit.
Carson's going to do it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's get out of here. Hammer Dahn's in 15 minutes at youtube.com/Hammer Dahn. We can't thank you all enough for watching. We appreciate the hell out of you. Remember the same game parlay holiday this weekend. Get in. Let's go.
Here we go.
We appreciate you all so much. Big shout out to Jordan Poyer for joining us in the middle of his preparation for the big game on Saturday night in Buffalo. Shams, Chuck Pagano, Schrager, AJ, all the boys, you crushed it. Everybody that watched, thank you. We'll see you mañana for a Feel Good Friday.
Woo, hell yeah.
Hey, I think we'll go 11.
Okay.
11 to 2 tomorrow. Is that cool with you coming at noon?
Yep, works perfect.
Okay, because I guess there's snow in Nebraska.
Oh,
So I guess there's a little bit of a thing that's happening there.
Storm rolling in.
Yeah.
T-cell coming through.
Yeah, I got to get, that's going to be fun. Great. Can't wait for it. You all are the best. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.